in a world of remakes and remasters.
Are we playing for
What was once sacred and cool has now soured and become lame. Gone are the days of pods and cowabunga. Now is the reign of slurp juice and dabs. Kids these days don't even know how bad they've got it. Now it's up to the best generation to rise to the occasion and make a show that dares to go where a lot of other nerdy shows have already gone quite a bit. That's right. They're going to talk about it a lot.
Hello and welcome to the show, everyone. How's everybody doing?
Great.
So great.
Well, this is the show Best Gen. It's called Best Gen because we're all from the same gen, and we happen to think that it's the best. But we are very welcoming of anyone of all ages. It doesn't matter when you were born. You're welcome to watch the show, just as long as you can admit that no new phone release will ever beat the Nokia brick.
I don't know. The Motorola Razor was
Okay, the Razor was pretty
good.
dope, but that thing snapped in half all
True.
the time.
Yep.
Okay,
True.
The Nokia brick though, that had an awesome Space Invaders type
yeah.
game, and
it also
Snake.
had the
That
best
was-
games.
Yeah,
too,
so good.
Of all those retro games, though, I don't think anything beats the block dude from the
TI-89 calculators.
calculators.
Yes.
That game is so good. That was one of my favorite puzzle games.
Yeah, for sure.
Martina, your comment, are you trying to do it? It's a brick.
Found.
Was that the intention?
It's Motorola. Or no, wait, the brick phone was
It's
Nokia.
Nokia. It's Nokia. Man, yeah, Motorola works a lot better there. The cadence. Well, thank you for liking my intro. I like it too. I like the song. I want to make the visuals more engaging, but I've been a little busy. Yeah. Oh man, I love the Nokia brick though. That thing went through so many accidents. So, this is the show Best Gen. We complain. We're nerds and we complain about nerdy things. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about Moon Knight episode 3, as well as some nerdy news articles, and then Raised by Wolves season 1 episode 8. And then at the end, we'll probably talk all of season 1 because I think Tanner and David both couldn't resist and watched the whole thing. But we'll give spoiler warnings if you're not caught up.
I went. So my parents are in town visiting, and we went and saw the Secrets of Dumbledore.
Oh,
to hear my opinion on that, I can tell you.
well, I mean, the secret is that he's gay, right?
It was to my mother.
She didn't know.
No,
She didn't get it from the last. She didn't get it from the last movie with the gay sex pact.
She didn't watch the last
Oh,
movie. 'Cause
that's even
bad.
worse.
But also, like, she didn't even remember J.K. Rowling coming out that big thing when she was like,
10 years
I
ago?
think Dumbledore's gay.
Actually, I knew it the whole time.
But the first scene is a conversation between Dumbledore and Grindelwald.
Uh-huh.
And like moving up to it, we were saying like at dinner, we were like, yeah, so Dumbledore and Grindelwald were in love, and she was like, no. No. And then the first scene, Dumbledore is like, I should have never fallen in love with you. And I was sitting right next to my mom, and she looked at me like,
I'm assuming your mom is a good Christian woman as well.
she is. The thing is, I'll say this though. I mean, I've got relatives who are homosexual, and they are in very happy relationships. I think she just.
Oh, I've got black friends argument right here.
Oh, gee. Oh, but she's. I think she was just like, she sees Harry Potter as like a childhood thing that like we went through, and there's complicated emotions there where it's like, so yeah,
that's fair. I haven't seen it yet because I not too enthusiastic.
Yeah.
I'll wait till Redbox or HBO
Yeah,
Max.
probably waiting for Redbox. I should probably watch it because I have a YouTube channel where I talk about movies and clicks. But it's going to take some convincing to get me to pay to see it in the theater. Do they make the Magic Pact make more sense in this one?
No,
they don't. No, okay.
No, like I don't. Because it's like, I mean, I'll be careful with spoilers, but I mean, like in the Crimes of Grindelwald, the Magic Pact is like, oh, we swore not to move against each other.
Right? That doesn't make any. What does that mean?
Yeah, because in this one, like Dumbledore has this whole plan
where he's moving against him,
where he's trying to interfere with Grindelwald's big plan, but I guess it's like they can't directly fight each other.
They can't do it directly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, just the first off, just the fact that their magic sex pact exists in the first place makes no sense unless they knew that they would hate each other in the future and they would be enemies. Not only that they would hate each other, but that they would be enemies on two different sides of a conflict, of a war. Because like Tanner, if you and I are gay lovers, right?
Okay.
What scenario would we make, like even not even like a magic pact? What scenario would we make a promise to each other where, hey, the Civil War's coming up, Tanner, I just want you to promise me that if I don't want to free the slaves, you won't join the Union and fight me.
No.
Like what?
Their excuse in the movie was like, there's a whole thing where Dumbledore's like, I was young and in love and I wasn't thinking clearly when I did it. And
but even if you were thinking clearly, how does it make sense?
Yeah. I mean, point. here's the another big part of this movie is the election of like the head of the international wizarding community. And the election makes no
different.
Sense.
That's different from the
Ministry of Magic, which is the British government.
Oh, because we're in America, right?
But international means like he's the head honcho across
of
nations,
all wizards, which
we've never heard of before.
Right. Which wasn't a thing in the Harry Potter books.
The true Nana Shana the pressure, right?
Yeah. and guess what? One of the candidates is Chinese.
Okay.
I'm kind of, and also the big finale happens over in China in the Himalayas.
Oh, because we want China to give us money.
Like there's been so many movies that's like China, they're gonna save the day, and it's like,
I get, we want to be friendly, right? But when China is like actively hostile to the United States, and the fact that they took out all of the gay stuff
Yeah.
for the China release
I saw that, yeah.
because we're so woke. We really believe in these causes, unless it means we won't make money in China. like if you're still not convinced that Hollywood does not care about you, like you're I don't know what world you're living in.
Yeah.
It's I can't. I'm trying to think. I think Transformers, one of the Transformers movie, was the most egregious example.
The whole finale was
the whole finale took place in China, and it was
that was
like
the dinosaur one, right?
And it was like a
never saw
Chinese
that one.
scientist who's only present for like the final third of the movie. Like she's key to solve, and it's like what the crap? Like, come on, just like. How about we have the finale take place in like some let's just start making Jamaica the country that we're trying to please, and
the BBEG is just a Jamaican guy. I think people would complain that was racist.
So
I would like to see more Jamaican films. Yeah, that'd be great.
I could say more about the Secrets of Dumbledore, but it would involve spoilers because I realized I'm a Harry Potter fan.
Yeah, I am too. I like Harry Potter,
but I hate Harry Potter.
the atmosphere or the character?
The franchise. I loved the books. I thought they were good. It was a very imaginative world, and I loved them. But then everything after has just been terrible.
The movies are okay. Right. I think
they make me mad though. I like
the last two books. I thought just didn't deliver for me, especially the last one. It just, I don't know. It just didn't come together.
You didn't like Dumbledore dying? I thought that was a pretty good ending.
No, Dumbledore dying was great. It's just they built up this big thing with the
Half-Blood Prince.
No, well, yeah, that too. But with the
what else were they building up in that book? Sorry,
I'm forgetting the name of the trifecta
Horcrux?
thing.
Oh,
you don't even know what it is because the
Deathly Hallows.
The Deathly Hallows.
Those don't even happen until the last book.
I know. So they built this whole thing up. It's like, the Deathly Hallows, and you have to have the cloak and the Elder Wand and the Philosopher's Stone together.
They don't really come into play in the finale.
They don't do anything.
It just comes down to a technicality of wands.
Voldemort's whole thing is, I got to get rid of this, get a hold of this Elder Wand, and I'll be all powerful. And he doesn't even know that the other ones exist. He doesn't even try to get them. It's like, what's the purpose of having this holy trinity of ancient, awesome artifacts with mythical powers? You're not going to do anything about it. It just fell entirely flat.
Something I've always been confused about is the invisibility cloak, which is one of the Hollows, right?
Right.
But when he gets it in book 1, Ron says, "Oh my goodness, that's an invisibility cloak." Like not like they're common things, but like it's a thing that people know about.
Right.
So that's
so. Are there other lesser invisibility cloaks that just aren't as good as the Deathly Hallows? And the Harry just got real lucky and happens to have the one.
There is an explanation for that. They explain as Harry is starting to learn about the Hollows.
This explained in one of her tweets after the fact?
It was explained in the books. You can cast disillusionment charms, which make things invisible onto items of clothing, or you can weave a cloak out of the hair of a certain creature that gives it invisibility properties. But the invisibility starts to fade and they're less effective over time. But Harry's, which he's had for 7 years in the series of the books, it always works. And as Harry learns about the Deathly Hallows, he's like, my invisibility cloak is weird. Why is it so strong? Why does it work?
Oh, okay.
And then also Harry is a descendant of the original 3 wizards.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Who made the 3 items.
That's
how he got it. It was passed down to him.
Something that I only learned, I believe, talking to you, Tanner, a month ago, is that the Philosopher's Stone and the Resurrection Stone aren't the same thing.
No.
Yeah, I didn't realize that for a long time too.
Because
And
the philosopher's
I say that,
philosopher's stone gets destroyed in book 1. I thought they just locked it up and they bring it back for the last episode.
that's what
The
I thought.
philosopher's
And
stone
it would have
can
made a lot more sense to tie
Well,
everything together, but
it's more confusing though because the philosopher's stone actually could resurrect people, and the
No.
resurrection stone couldn't.
No, the Philosopher's
it would
Stone
show
makes
you what you wanted, right? Or
the Philosopher's Stone makes the elixir of life, which is basically a potion which extends your life.
Isn't the philosopher's stone what brought Voldemort back in book 1?
No, Voldemort. It was. I mean, it was actually set up pretty well. Voldemort is on the back of Quirrell's head.
Yeah.
He thinks that getting the Philosopher's Stone of the Elixir of Life will allow him to regenerate his body,
Oh, okay.
but he never
So
gets it.
He was only alive because of the Horcrux thing.
Yes.
But for some reason, his head was fused to the back of Quirrell's
Yeah,
head.
he possessed Quirrell, and it's. I mean,
right. But then he gets his body back with that ritual in book 4.
yes, yeah,
right.
and so
Okay,
so there
so-
are ways to
and
do
the-
that.
But
But
the resurrection stone
the
didn't
resurrection
actually bring people
stone,
back either, though. It just brings visions back.
it's like it's described as somewhere between a ghost and a mortal because ghosts in the universe are like imprints of the people's lives
And
where
and
they
in
live.
the story of the Deathly Hallows, like it brings the guy's wife back, but not all the way. and
Yeah,
so then
she's
he
not
kills her.
Like that
happy. She's
zombie
not
thing.
there.
Like the
So
monkey's
Harry
paw
uses
story.
it. He uses it to talk to
His mommy and daddy.
his mom and dad and his loved ones before he goes to death, and so that's
Right.
Yeah.
I just felt it was underutilized. You know, they introduce this big holy trifecta of these artifacts, and then they don't do anything with them altogether. You know.
there's a little
So-
too much going
and-
on in book 7.
Yeah, and then the fact that
Well-
Voldemort didn't know anything about it is the most ridiculous part.
Yeah, they introduced 6 Horcruxes and the Deathly Hallows all in the last book. So it was a little. I enjoyed reading it, but it was definitely rushed, and you could tell that not all of it was planned from the beginning.
Right. Exactly.
But still good books.
Because most of book 7 was we got to go get this item, we got to figure out how to get this item, and
Yeah.
but I like it. But then the movie
Also, it teaches kids to play hooky. So
Yeah.
that's it's bad morals.
And he somehow still graduates.
He becomes a professor, right?
Yeah. There's no like, hey, you just skipped out on your entire 7th year, so you have to take all these classes again.
I think there being a hostile takeover by an evil person of the entire
Yeah.
government.
He gets one of those honorary degrees, like
Maybe.
The GED.
yeah.
I think in her tweets, J.K. Rowling said Hermione went back to school, but Harry and Ron didn't, and they got
right.
I think they did get like honorary degrees.
Like you saved the world, I guess you can graduate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If one of my students brought down an evil dictator, I'd give him a pass in my English class.
Study abroad, I guess.
Yeah.
Check that box. This is a social studies class, not affect the social structure class.
Anyway, sorry to get us off on Harry Potter for so long, but
No. The point of the show is to talk about nerdy stuff. Did you guys watch the Sonic 2? I took my little kid to see that one. He liked it.
didn't
Nope.
see that.
I haven't seen Sonic 1 yet.
You've seen Sonic 1, wasn't it? Oh
No.
no. For some reason, I thought Jake, your son, was talking about it, but it was the neighbor's kid. Elliot absolutely loved Sonic 2. He said it was better than the first one. It's pretty similar in tone to the first one.
Yeah.
There's more action, and that's good. It's probably better than Sonic 1. It spends too much time with the human characters, though.
Yeah.
Like there's a good half hour of the movie that's focused on the wedding of his adopted mom's sister that gets tied up in the first movie. She's in like 5 minutes of the first movie, and the movie spends like maybe even 45 minutes on her wedding.
Wow.
And I didn't really understand why they were spending so much time there, but it was fun. Jim Carrey is charismatic and just ridiculous as Eggman, and it's a good kids movie.
Cool.
So, should we talk about Moon Knight, episode 3?
Let's do it.
Let's
talk about Moon Knight. I'm gonna start general vibes without getting into the details. I didn't love this episode. It wasn't terrible. I didn't hate it. But it felt, there were things I really liked, which we can get into when we break it down. But I felt like it didn't really have like a good focus that the first 2 episodes did.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of drive behind it. It was kind of just pieces shuffling around on a board without a specific goal.
Exactly. That's how I felt too. There were some scenes that were good, but some of the plot points I'm like, wait, why did they do that? Why did the character motivations in some of the scenes are like, I don't understand why that happened.
It's my storyography problem.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the choices that people were making didn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Corwin.
Hey.
How's it going? We just finished talking about some Harry Potter, and we're starting to talk about Moon Knight. How are you doing, Corwin?
I'm doing fantastic. Can't complain too much. So sorry I'm a bit late. I'm obviously at work.
Good.
So
it's all good. Did you do your homework?
Which one?
We're talking about Moon Knight episode 3 right now.
I did not do my homework on Moon Knight, but I am up to par on
Raised by Wolves.
Yep.
Okay.
Remember, I'm not a spoiler guy. You guys can talk about it.
Yeah, no, we're gonna talk about it. Honestly, there's not really a lot to spoil in episode 3, which is one of my problems. I don't think they really accomplished anything in episode 3.
Well, we did find out pretty soon, right off the bat, that there is a third persona.
Yes, there's definitely a third person.
We were speculating on that last time and said there's definitely a third persona, and we said that maybe he's the evil persona,
which
it also like it might be the case.
That also confused me a little bit, because it seemed like the third persona was just Mark, but more brutal. Like because the difference between Mark and Steven was Steven, is a wuss, doesn't like killing people, and then every time it switched to Steven unless it wasn't switching to Mark.
Yeah,
I guess that could make sense. Mark is.
I think it wasn't switching to Mark.
So Steven is a wuss. Steven is a bookworm. Mark is Indiana Jones. And the third personality is I murder people. That makes sense.
Yes.
Because I was confused about that. Because they were talking to each other, and every scene with Mark, he was like, I don't want to kill people either. Right. I was like, wait, what's this contradiction? But that makes sense.
Even
looking back
when he's fighting the people on the rooftop, he slaps one of the kids because he doesn't want to stab him, like the youngest kid. And he doesn't.
And then it cuts back to him, and there he's murdered them.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Yeah. That's definitely what's going on then.
Yep.
I think that build up to that. I mean, we suspected it, but I liked we got back to the cuts. And
yes. That was definitely a plus of this episode. Is we got to see the same thing as episode 1, but from Mark's perspective, and that was really smart to see. Cool. It's the same for them too. So I like that they're incorporating that as much as they can without just completely ruining the story, and I think this is a good way of doing it.
Another thing I thought they did really well too is last episode I was complaining that a lot of the mirror shots didn't quite line up and didn't look like they were actual reflections.
Yeah.
This episode, it was very, very well done. like you with the reflection in the knife and the reflection in the other mirrors and stuff. It was just everything lined up a lot better. The reflections were a lot more natural, I thought.
Yeah. I only have 3 notes for this whole episode. I was like, I like that we get to see it from Steven's perspective. Then my second note is I don't get what Harrow's plan is at all.
Yes.
When because he shows up, and I was like, well, why is he here at all? It seems like he's like they could just follow him back now
at the sarcophagus thing.
And he shows up and he's talking to the prince.
Yeah.
And was he trying to seduce him? Get him on his side. It was really unclear. And then he uses his staff to like break the tomb thing. And then, but they needed. It was just really unclear what the good guy's goal was and what the bad guy's goal was.
Yeah.
They needed to look at the little papers that were in the sarcophagus, and then it was destroyed. But then they had some scraps of those papers, and then the scraps just so happened to all of the important parts weren't destroyed for somehow. And like I was just like, what is going on?
That was the part that I was referring to. It's just like I don't know why he showed up there. Like obviously he knew that somehow he knew that sarcophagus had
could
clues that would lead them to where they already were digging or something.
But if he didn't show up at all, they would still, even if they got the clues, it wouldn't lead to his dig site without Khonshu interfering and getting arrested again.
Yeah.
So why did he need to
I don't know. It's very strange.
I don't know.
Unless like they're digging in the wrong spot, like Indiana Jones or something. But if that was the case, why didn't he get the clues? Like, I don't understand why he was there. Like he went there obviously to destroy the evidence, but then he doesn't make sure that it's destroyed, and it was just really confusing.
Yeah,
and it also like I thought, with the trial. I thought Khonshu's plan was, I'm going to do this risky thing so we can get him where we can see him and then we can follow him.
And it's what's funny. They have the conversation. They're like, if we do this, I will get in trouble. And then they say, but I think I have an idea and it's risky. And then their plan didn't change. Like Khonshu brought it up like he's like, oh, I have a secret thing that's going to come into play. And then all they did was literally just talk,
right?
To the like, it was like, well,
and
you said that this is what was going to happen if you didn't have anything up your sleeve, and then you didn't have anything up your sleeve, and so that like, what?
Yeah,
what was that conversation about?
Khonshu specifically says, we need to have all our ducks in a row, essentially, and make sure.
Or I'm going to get in big trouble
against Arthur is set in stone, whatever, and he just. I don't know. It didn't say anything convincing.
But there was a beat in their conversation where they're like, okay, I think I have something. It's reckless, but let's do it. And his reckless plan was to just do the thing that Steven had already suggested and they'd already talked about.
Yeah.
I didn't get it. Also, I wasn't super enthusiastic about the action. It wasn't bad. It was kind of lackluster. I liked the fight.
I thought it was okay.
I liked the fight scene in episode 2, and this it wasn't bad, but it really just didn't stand out. It was kind of just a bunch of quick cuts, and the fight scene on top of the roof, out of costume, was good. And then when he was in costume, I was just like, I wasn't into it.
It went to the Marvel formulaic action.
Yeah. I thought parts of it were pretty cool, like when he absorbed the bullets and then threw them back, even though there's no way he could throw them back at the same velocity that would kill somebody.
I don't even remember that happening.
Yeah, he turned his cape and we were shooting all the guns and he absorbed all the bullets and then he flipped around. Okay. That was kind of cool, but it's like you can't. I don't know, unless it's got some Black Panther energy absorption
magic
thing in it. They magic.
It's got magic stuff.
Wobbly. But I don't know. I didn't think it was bad. There was just a couple spots.
No, I didn't
get pinned by all the different spears and stuff. It's like,
I like
okay,
that.
that was cool, but then all of a sudden he just like whips himself free.
His
It's
solution.
like,
I liked that he was getting pinned down, and his solution to get out of it was to wiggle. And I was like, well, why didn't you just do that before?
Yeah. So
yeah, it was funny.
know.
It was funny that Steven tried to take over and immediately just gets wrecked.
Yeah, like take it back.
I liked it.
That was fun.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It just didn't stand out to me.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, the action scene in episode 2 did stand out. It was good. It was choreographed well.
Yes,
I think Daredevil. I'm gonna go back to that. That had some pretty good fight choreography in it.
That had some excellent fight choreography.
I think a lot.
I need to watch that again now that it's on Disney Plus.
It's on Disney Plus, and I'm kind of, I don't know. I think if maybe Moon Knight had been produced after the acquisition of the Netflix shows, maybe they would have been like, let's take it a little further, and maybe
I don't know. Well, because Daredevil, they're obviously gonna do a Daredevil season 4, right?
Hopefully,
they have to. I'm really worried about it because it's gonna be Disney, and the selling point of Daredevil was that it was gritty.
Yeah, and the Kingpin was brutal, and they kind of emasculated him a little bit in Hawkeye.
I hated his treatment in Hawkeye. I thought it completely ruined the character.
I still haven't watched that episode, so I can't.
It wasn't bad. It was just like, seriously, you don't.
First, his inclusion in Hawkeye didn't make sense. He didn't have a plan. He was set up as like, oh, I'm the schemer. He had no plan. Did nothing. Showed up and had one fight, not with Hawkeye, but with the girl,
Kate Bishop.
He fights Kate Bishop and he gets his butt kicked. Like he gets wrecked. And I'm like, this is not the same Kingpin.
No.
Yeah. He should have been like brutally beating her up and throwing her across the room.
He's like 4 times her size. She's this tiny girl. Like I love strong female characters, but there is no way she would stand a chance at, like, if you know anything about fighting, Corwin, back me up on this, MMA, a person my size, not even Kingpin size, could take Kate Bishop's character. I could just sit on her and win the fight, and she would have no chance. I wouldn't have to do anything.
She should have walked away from that fight with broken ribs and everything, and then at the very end you can still do the same cool trick shot thing and blow him up or whatever.
Yeah.
But she should have been.
She needed to outsmart him.
Exactly. She should have been like totally in over her head, going to lose the fight, going to die completely until she does that trick.
But it wasn't. It was a fair fight.
Smacking him around. Yeah, it was bad.
Even with training and fights, I mean, you could use anything, but that's why they have weight classes, right? I mean, I've seen exhibition matches where it's been like a lightweight or a middleweight or a welterweight versus a heavyweight.
Yes,
and the difference in boxing is astronomical.
Like there are some things that you can overcome with skill.
But, sure. But physical. The people who deny that physicality has something to do with fighting. Well, if you have all this, you can fight someone 10 times your size. I've done jiu-jitsu since I was 16. I've done mixed martial arts since I was 16. With a lot of training, can I fight a guy that's twice my size? And I'm 5'10", 200 pounds. Can I fight a dude that's, maybe 6'2", 250? Yeah, I probably could. Can I fight a guy who's 6'7", 250? No, I'm going to get my butt handed to me.
No, I performed. So I did jiu-jitsu and I competed in an unweighted league. So they had weight classes and then an ultimate class where you could just fight against whoever you wanted. And
you took second in that, by the way, if I remember.
I got second place because the guy who got first place
was 3 times your size.
Looked like the mountain from Game of Thrones.
He was in my class because we were both in college at the time. He was in my class. He was the guy I trained against. So, yeah, he was 6'2". He was your height, but he was a bodybuilder. Like
there is literally like I
huge.
probably had better technique than he did.
Mhm.
There was literally nothing
You
I
did.
could have won to win that fight.
You had a lot better technique, and that's why the fight lasted. I mean, you lasted probably. I think it was like a 5 minute 38 seconds or something like
Yes.
that.
My
total,
goal
and
was
you
to
lasted that
not
long because
lose.
his technique was garbage, but he was just so used to using his brute force and his strength and his weight that and
he was
yeah,
good.
I mean,
but
he was
like,
good. He was in my class. I wrestled with him every day in class. I rolled with him every day in class. But yeah, no, I agree with you guys. The Kingpin should have rocked her world.
So yeah, we were talking about Moon Knight.
I don't know that, but I'm just saying, like, because I've seen, I've seen the first episode and I've seen the second. I haven't seen the third, and that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, we were worried. It came up because Tanner had the thought that if this had been produced after they announced that they were bringing in the Netflix TV shows, then maybe it would be a little bit more brutal. We were a little bit disappointed with the action in episode 3. It was really tame. And then comparing it to Daredevil, which is incredible. Daredevil season 1 is I think it's the best Marvel property, like live action. It's so good. But then they're obviously going to do season 4, and I'm worried about it because Disney makes things soft. So
I don't know. They might just reboot him.
Yeah, it probably won't be a season 4. It'll be just a Daredevil.
Yeah.
Daredevil with the same character,
something else title.
Maybe some of the same side characters, but rebranded.
Yep.
They don't have to though, because those technically did take place in the MCU. Yep. They frequently mentioned, the events of the big Avengers
New York
movies.
incident.
Yeah. So they don't have to reboot it, but I think it'll definitely be a soft reboot. For sure. I don't know if they'd even call it Daredevil season 4. It'll probably be called Daredevil, and then the show will be about Kate Bishop. So. It'll be a different character, obviously. So yeah, Moon Knight episode 3, it was okay. And then the scraps of the map that they picked up after it was destroyed had all of the essential bits still there, and he tapes it together into a star, which was really weird. I liked the scene where they did the turning back time, though. That looked really cool. It just didn't make any sense how they got there.
Yeah. Another thing too is when they showed up for the trial, in the reflection, Steven is in the reflection. He's like, "Oh, we're inside the pyramids of Giza. I can't believe this." I'm like, how does he know that they're inside the pyramids of Giza?
Well, because he's a nerd. He's seen the drawings and stuff. He knows what it would be shaped like. But I think he should have said, "I think we're inside the
right." Yeah, but I mean, but even so, I mean, like they've done scans of what they think is inside the pyramids of Giza, and it's just like a tunnel and like a room that's really small. It's not like a huge antechamber like they've got there, So I just thought that was a weird line.
I will give it to him.
Jacob's asking if there's going to be a new Daredevil season. It hasn't officially been announced, but I mean they're going to do it. They already brought him into Spider-Man.
It could be a movie. They could do a Daredevil movie.
They're not. No, they'll do a TV show. I think
I would like a Daredevil movie. The last Daredevil movie with Ben Affleck sucked.
Oh, but we did get that amazing Elektra spinoff. So.
Oh yeah, with the snake man.
Yeah, that was.
Hey, say what you will. It's not a good movie. It's a great movie for a 12-year-old boy.
The dude with the tattoo powers, that was so cool.
Yes,
I love that movie.
Yeah, that's
what I was looking at.
That's why high school age boys watch that movie. Yeah.
It was the tattoo guy.
I swear,
100% had nothing to do with with Elektra at all. Nada. But hey.
Can we all agree Electra Nachios is the stupidest name ever? My name's Electric Nachos. Martina asks if we're talking about Moana. I don't know what show you think you've tuned into, but no. I don't have anything else to say about Moon Knight episode 3. I liked how it started. I liked that we got to see Mark's perspective. I wasn't super impressed with the action and storyography.
I'll say kind of as the MCU as a whole, and as a fantasy fan, I kind of like this whole we're bringing in gods and stuff.
It has potential. I'm excited to see where it goes.
It's cool too because we've already had Norse gods, right? Thor and Loki and everything. Yes. So now we're getting Egyptian gods.
Martina was talking about the tattoos with the Moana.
Maui.
Maui's character. Yeah, no, we weren't. Yeah, we were talking about other.
The Elektra movie.
If you haven't seen the amazing thing that is the Elektra movie from the early 2000s, just go watch it.
I liked the Daredevil movie as a kid too.
Sarcasm dripping.
But obviously watching it does not hold up.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I liked this. Oh no, this is bad. If they do a new season of Daredevil, it's probably going to be all about Elektra. That was just Daredevil season 3. They already did that. I didn't like season 3 very much. Oops, I did not. The girl with the dagger. She's a hottie. Yes, that's what we were talking about. It's great movie to watch when you're 14 and you're a little boy. So Moon. Yeah. Anything else to say on Moon Knight?
I don't think so. No. Okay, one more note. We did get confirmation, I think, that Mark was the original personality because Arthur in the thing said he has a birth certificate under the name Mark, and then a job at the thing with Steven or whatever.
And there was also a comment when he was talking to his wife. Not ex-wife. Everyone calls her Layla. All the articles online refer to her as the ex-wife, but they haven't been divorced yet.
Yeah,
it isn't in the papers. He was talking to her, and he said, "I had it under control before," and so like the personalities sounds like they already did exist.
I think so.
But probably this whole thing with Khonshu has brought them out to the foreground.
Yes.
So, that's Moon Knight. I'm excited for episode 4. He loses his powers, right?
Presumably, I mean, he gets his powers from Khonshu, right?
Oh no, he lost his powers. He's no longer Moon Knight, which leads us to my favorite segment, Screen Rants Bad Takes. Everybody,
Screen Rants Bad Takes.
This is not from Screen Rant. This is Inside the Magic. Oscar Isaac won't be a Marvel superhero anymore.
So pure clickbait title.
Yeah, because Khonshu gets imprisoned, so he doesn't have superpowers.
Yeah,
and there's going to be 6 episodes or 8? 6, right?
6. Yeah.
So there's going to be 3 more episodes of Moon Knight where he doesn't have superpowers. So that was it.
All right.
It was a good run. Moon Knight was a good run. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Even though they mentioned in this episode, hey, tell Mark to free me or whatever.
Yeah. But they're trying to imply with their headline, Oscar Isaac's quit. He's not going to do it.
The actor is what they're trying to imply. Like false advertisement. No. Shut the heck up.
Yep.
Well, hey, they might be right because like every other Disney Plus show, the actual show hasn't been about the titular character. Maybe Moon Knight is about passing the mantle on to his ex-wife.
To Layla.
So
Maybe so.
it's true.
They still have to free Conchu to do it, though.
Okay, as you can see, I've got a lot of other bad takes. So let's move.
Goodness.
Let's move on.
Let's cruise through
Every
these
week
things.
it gets
Yeah,
longer.
these will go pretty quick. Marvel actor gets arrested. MCU future up in the air. Barry Keoghan got arrested in Dublin. It's such a shame too, because he was so close to becoming the superhero crossover movie king.
Oh no, not this again.
But he's
Oh,
not
no.
in Marvel movies anymore because he got arrested.
Isn't he the guy that plays in Fantastic Beasts?
Yes.
No,
no.
they look exactly the same.
Yes. That's the Flash. That's
Ezra Miller.
Ezra Miller, and he got arrested too.
And he was like, sorry,
They're
I saw
really doing a
Harry
knock-up
Potter.
job hiring actors to play morally straight superhero characters.
Yeah. This is the first callback. There's going to be more callbacks tonight, and I'm really excited for them. We talked about this article already.
Yeah.
I found a new website called Landscape Insight.
That is terribly designed, by the way. This website looks like it's from 2003.
Just wait. First, so they made this article: How I Met Your Mother season 10 release date, cast, and more updates.
Wait, this was published yesterday?
Yeah,
2 days ago?
Yeah, 2 days ago. So, How I Met Your Mother ended like 10 years ago with season 9. There is no season 10, and that's what they say. Like, the season 10 is the How I Met Your Father reboot. That's what this article is about.
Oh my gosh.
But like, this is so clickbaity. I hate it. And they're like, oh, the cast is gonna. Sometimes some of the cast has cameos in How I Met Your Father, so it counts as How I Met Your Mother season 10.
This is
stupid. Yeah.
Rewatching How I Met Your Mother, I've watched it a couple of times.
I tried to rewatch it.
The biggest pitfall to make it a last to rewatch it again is, in my opinion, the character of Lily.
Lily is
Lily
awful.
Albright,
She's a
Marshall's
terrible
wife.
character.
I can't remember. She is the worst. Like, as a group of friends, she is the absolute worst garbage human being of almost any sitcom, hands down. She interferes in people's lives. She breaks people up on purpose. She does all these terrible, awful things to people. Then she steals, like she jeopardizes people's jobs because someone at their job doesn't do something she likes. So she's Aldrin Justice, and she ends up stealing like expensive items from adults. Like,
she also does questionable things with her kindergartner class.
Yeah, I mean, that's I'm not gonna judge that, because I mean, it's a sitcom, so they're trying to make funny stuff happen, and okay, I get that. But just as a character, that's what I'm saying. Like, as a character as a whole, she is an absolutely apprehensible character.
Yeah,
and it makes the show almost impossible to rewatch.
I tried rewatching it because I like to have a background show that I don't pay attention to when I'm working on making videos and stuff.
Yep.
And since I've already seen it, I was like, oh, I'm going to try rewatching. I got through season 1 and started like season 2, and I was just like, I'm not into this show anymore. Also, it doesn't help that the ending is the worst thing ever. And completely throws Barney's character arc out the window.
Exactly.
You could tell at season 9, getting Robin and Barney back together. We're on a tangent here, but you could tell that the writers were like, oh crap, we still have a season to go. Yeah. We have no more freaking ideas, and they botched it.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even have a problem. I didn't even have an issue that the spoilers, the mom dies. I thought that was actually a good thing.
Exactly. I did too.
But the fact that and the fact
I didn't even have a problem with the fact that Ted and Robin get together. I had no problem with that. It was how they did it that
exactly
just completely destroyed 9 seasons of Barney trying to become a better person.
Right.
Arguably
And
the
that
best
whole-
character.
Yeah.
No, not arguably. Hands down the best character.
Yeah.
Barney is hands down the best character of that show. He carried that show. And the
Yeah.
whole last season was all built on redeeming
him.
his character and making him not a douchebag.
It
And
wasn't
the
just the
very
last
fun-
season, David. It was like
finale-
the last 4 seasons.
Yeah,
Yeah, the last two. Yeah,
sure,
the last
sure.
two.
But the last season was just the
Yes.
wedding, right? The whole
Mhm.
season was just based on this idea of redeeming this character who's been this, hilarious character, but terrible sleazebag the whole season. And then they just throw it out the window in the finale. It was like, what are you thinking? This is so stupid.
Yeah, they
Stupid.
should
And
have
then
kept.
they thought
should've-
that everybody
But-
hated that the mom died.
No, that was a
And,
great decision.
that was great. So they re-edited it. Where
Most
she
peop-
didn't
most
die.
people
It's like, no,
knew
that's
it
not
was
the
coming.
problem with the finale. The problem is you massacred Barney's character.
Yeah, most people called it. Most
And
people
Robin's
expected that the mom was dead, and
Right.
that's
It
why.
makes sense. It's a
Yeah.
beautiful ending.
Yeah.
That's why he's
I-
explaining to his kids on the couch how he met their mother, because
Yeah.
they
And-
don't know their mother. It's
It was
beautiful.
like you said, it was that beautiful How I Met Your Mother, as in your biological mother that you knew for a little bit, and How I Met Your soon to be, because that's what they allude to,
yeah.
mom that you know is Aunt Robin, but she's going to be your stepmom. Like, that's how I met her. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
Everything was great. They should have kept Robin, or they should have kept Barney with. The
Robin.
show really botches it. They should have kept Barney with Quinn, the stripper that he fell in love with.
Yeah.
Who changed her whole life for him, and then they were just like, nope, we've got to write her out of the show. So they're going to argue about some stupid. I can't remember. It was like some contract they wanted to do or whatever, and
Yeah.
they ended up like it was absolute. Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
That's what screwed that TV show over. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, I didn't intend to talk about this for so long. But in case you're confused, there is no How I Met Your Mother season 10. There is a spin-off called How I Met Your Father, and it's not good. I made it 3 episodes deep. There's only
It's
one
already
good.
started.
It's been out for like a year.
Really?
that's why
Oh my
this
God.
is apparently news.
I didn't even. Yeah, they're just trying
No, it's not
to farm
good.
views or something.
There's like one good character. There's a British guy who's a funny character in the show, but I just could not stomach it.
But this just goes to show that the main writers, because the main writers for Hollywood and for TV shows have been the same general people for a very long time at this
Yeah.
point. And it goes to show that they are completely out of ideas.
Yeah.
And
most
so
them,
instead of
yeah.
coming up with original concepts or even just a new sitcom, I mean, the sitcom before How I Met Your Mother was Friends, right? Friends
Yeah.
ended and then everyone was trying to gather it. And How I Met Your Mother filled that power vacuum, for lack of a better term.
It's Friends
And now-
too.
They just don't have an answer, and so they're going back. Well, let's just do nostalgia. Let's do a remake of How I Met Your Mother, but it's How I Met Your Father from this. Let's do this. You've lost these people need to step aside, take your millions that you've made, step aside, and let new writers come in.
Have you seen they're rebooting Bel Air, Fresh Prince of
Yes.
Bel Air?
It's
That was
already
the
out.
other thing,
It's already out.
Yeah,
like
it's already
that,
out.
That looks so stupid to me.
It's like a
you can't-
it's a drama. It's like
yeah,
Yeah,
like
you're
you can't.
rebooting an extremely classic,
Yeah,
family-friendly. That teach it's a great show.
Bel Air's fantastic.
Phenomenal show. It even holds up today, apart from the fact that it's old looking. It is a great TV show,
yeah.
and yeah, they're absolutely slaughtering it.
Well,
Moving on.
yes. I just wanted to make fun of this website really quick because it has nothing to do with landscaping and it's not
Landscape
insightful
insight.
either. All of their articles are about TV. It's baffling. And if you go to their home and garden section, which you would expect,
Nothing.
I think what's
Nice.
happened here is they're rebranding their website and they haven't changed the name yet.
Yeah.
Because all it is another screen rant. I'm like, what? Oh, that's funny. Okay, here's another good one. Why I don't know this website. Why you should skip Dark Souls and play Elden Ring instead. Okay. I'm super excited to play Elden Ring. I haven't bought it yet, but like by all means, play Elden Ring. But don't skip Dark Souls. It's made by the same people and it's good. One of my favorite games of all time. You're stupid, whoever wrote this article. Moving on. Okay.
Let's talk about that for a half second. I am not a Dark Souls fan. I know a lot of people who are not Dark Souls fans. And especially a lot of people in the Destiny clan that you used to be part of, but that's beside the point. There was a lot of them who weren't Dark Souls fans, and a lot of people have bought Elden Ring, and they love Elden Ring. Like, I tried to play Dark Souls 1. I tried. I couldn't get into it.
It's the same game.
Yes and no. Like, from my understanding,
is a lot of people... Though, can't you?
You can jump in Elden Ring, yeah.
Elden Ring is not going to throw lore story off or anything. My understanding is that they took all that they learned from 1, 2, and 3, tossed out the worst parts of all 3 games.
Yeah, it's better.
Parts of all 3 games, and made something that is absolutely beautiful. Every review I have seen of Elden Ring, including the Angry Joe show, which I listen to a lot for game reviews and whatnot, he had the same take. He's like, I hated Dark Souls 1, 2, 3. Wow. I can't play them. I despise them. I love Elden Ring. So, I mean, I don't know why you should
hate on Dark Souls. No hate on Elden Ring.
You need, that I could see, like, you should skip. No, if you haven't played them, give them a shot. Maybe
you should give it. You should give it a try. Don't just skip to Elden Ring.
Yeah, because they are. I mean, a lot of people really like it. It's just not my cup of tea. But I do really want to buy Elden Ring.
Dark Souls 1 is my favorite game of all time.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
I'm playing Bloodborne,
and I'm tempted every day to buy a PlayStation just so that I can play Bloodborne because it's only on PlayStation and not on PC. But
it's on Switch now too, I think.
Maybe.
Switch. I think
I've heard
they did a Switch port.
Oh. Okay.
I don't know.
Well, you guys ready? You guys ready for this bad take? Did J.K. Rowling copy the Lord of the Rings in her Harry Potter series?
We talked about that last time.
Yes, everyone's copied the Lord of the Rings. Yeah, it's the same article we talked about last time, and it's by the same owners. Screen Rant, Game Rant, and CBR. It's the same people. Stop rewriting the same articles. Okay, now we're actually getting to Screen Rant because we talked about this article last week, I believe. And Tanner, you asked me if all of because there's been a slew of articles on Screen Rant that have been aimed at Christopher Nolan and talking about how crappy his movies were and how the Batman is the superior Batman movie. No hate on the Batman. I liked the movie. I have some complaints, but like there has been like a targeting of a bunch of articles saying Nolan's movies was garbage and the Batman is way better. I looked it up. Do you want to know how many articles Nathaniel has written on the Batman?
How many?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 so far.
Wow.
And every single one
comparing it to
every single one is talking about how Nolan's movies were garbage. We talk about this one. This is the show don't tell. The Batman is better because Nolan's movies had too many monologues. The Batman opens with like a 13-minute monologue. Okay, shut up. The Batman fixes Nolan's Gotham mistake because the Gotham was cooler in the Batman than it was in Nolan's films. Shut up. The Batman fixed Nolan's biggest Bruce Wayne mistake because in Nolan's trilogy, he becomes Batman too fast.
And this one, he's already Batman.
He starts off as Batman in the Batman, and he doesn't start off as Batman in Batman Begins. You get an origin story. So shut the hell up.
You don't know how long he's been training with the they don't say that. You know that he's been gone since he was a teenager.
He leaves for years to go train to be a ninja. There's okay. once again, I like the Batman. It's a good movie, but we don't have to tear down Christopher Nolan's movies to make the Batman look better, okay? You don't
Yeah.
need to do that, okay? Yeah, sure, there are some flaws in The Dark Knight Rises, but it's still a good movie. It may not be the best Batman movie, okay?
I think after I may have to watch the Batman again, but in terms of Batman movies, my personal preference, it's The Dark Knight and then the Batman after. Like
Yeah.
I
think
really
so, yeah.
like the Batman.
But you don't need to say that Nolan
Yeah.
was a hack to make your point about the Batman.
Because he's
Okay.
not, because he makes good movies.
Here's the next one. The Batman's Riddler was way better than Heath Ledger's Joker.
Nope. That's objectively false.
What? The reason why is because the Riddler in the Batman beats Batman, which is true. Like he gets Batman to do what he wants.
Yeah, sure.
That's what the Joker did.
That's what the Joker did too. His whole plan was Harvey Dent turning into Two-Face. You moron!
and completely demoralizing.
It's
The
the
Batman.
exact same
Yeah.
plot. The
And he
Batman
did.
rips
He
off the
completely-
Dark Knight. It's the same thing.
Yeah, the
Yep.
Joker completely demoralized Batman in The Dark Knight, especially
Yes.
with the whole
The Joker
switcheroo.
wins.
You know, with the bombs, the switcheroo, Two-Face. He this kid, whoever's
Yep.
writing this is a moron.
It's the
Nathaniel-
same guy, Nathaniel Eric. I don't know how to say his last name.
The only thing that Joker didn't win is realizing that there was more humanity in the world and the boats didn't blow up.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
the only thing he
Yes.
lost.
Yep.
Everything else in that entire movie, Joker won the entire time.
I'm so.
He was
upset.
in control from the opening scene at the bank robbery, to the very end, the last 10 minutes of the movie. He was 100% in control of Batman.
The Batman sets up Two-Face and he makes more sense than the Joker. The Batman doesn't even mention Harvey Dent. I don't think. I'm gonna have to rewatch it.
I think by that picture, they might be implying that the
But
guy
this-
with the
that this-
bomb strapped around his
he's
head.
not. He's not Barbie. He's not Harvey Dent. There's a whole scene with him. That's not the same character.
And also, he's dead because he
Because
got blown up.
he got blowed up.
And Batman had his head in his hands, I'm pretty sure, when he. Anyways,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't even want to read this one. The Robert Pattinson's The Batman trilogy. First off, it's not a trilogy yet. Okay, in the future, can redeem Nolan's worst wasted villain. Talking about Scarecrow.
Scarecrow was awesome.
Nolan's treatment of Scarecrow is my favorite depiction of the character.
He's terrifying outside of the mask because he has those. What's the actor's name that does it? He's got those like super ice blue eyes. What is
Yeah.
his name?
I don't remember.
Creepy guy.
But he plays the same.
He's the guy in that Netflix show that there's a bunch of YouTube shorts on.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it's Joe something.
He's also
Joe-
in Red Eye.
Joe who?
Jolene.
Yeah, he's in Red Eye.
Jolene.
He is terrifying. Even he's outside of his Scarecrow outfit. He's the doctor, and you see him, and you get this, like, you see him, and you're just like, oh, it's this. I mean, objectively, it's this beautiful baby faced man. Like, you just want to cuddle with him, right?
Killian Murphy.
No homo. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, like, that's who you look at. You're just like, oh, he's not a dangerous individual. He's just got this. And he turns out to be the frickin' Scarecrow, which makes his innocent persona even more terrifying.
Peaky Blinders is the show I was talking about. There's
He's
all
also in
kinds
Red
of
Eye. Yeah, I remember him being in Red Eye too, and he was just as good as in Red Eye.
absolutely
Same
terrifying.
kind of character too. He's like this suave, handsome man who's attractive, and he's like, oh.
And what's cool is they keep bringing his character back in the sequels to the Batman. You know, he's not he's not super prominent, but he still exists, and because he's gone crazy because Batman beat him up. Like,
and while he was under the effect of his crazy
Yeah.
serum, so it snapped his mind. Which
Yeah.
in the comics is what happens. That's what happens in the comics. Scarecrow is the normal doctor who created this. Batman flips it around on him, and he ends up beating the crap out of the Scarecrow while under that hallucinogen, and it makes Scarecrow's mind snap.
we had just talked about this too when we were talking about the Batman, who were like, what villains do we want to see him face off against next? And I was like, I really like the Scarecrow, but then we all agreed, no, but he was done so well in Nolan. Like, we don't,
Right.
we let's see someone else. It was unanimous. Like, yeah, he was good in that. Like Nathaniel Erkermail, like you were a moron. This is then we get to a different. So those are all the articles I found from him, but there are even more on Screen Rant from other authors that are just attacking Nolan's films. 9 things about the Dark Knight trilogy that have aged poorly. Poor use of the Scarecrow. Shut up. Batman's voice, okay, it's a little bit of a meme, but everyone has copied that voice ever since. Okay, so shut up. Batman's constricting suits. In the first one, yeah, there was a mobility issue. But have you seen any of the other Batman movies? Have you seen
Michael Keaton had to turn his whole body. He said he had headaches after acting because he couldn't turn his head freely.
It's a problem because it's a comic book movie, and comic books are ridiculous. And the fact that we have any live action comic book movies is a miracle. Okay, this isn't Nolan's fault. Shut up. The pacing of The Dark Knight Rises. Okay, that's fair. The Bat is apparently stupid. It is a cool hover tank. Shut up. How did Batman escape the explosion? Did you watch the movie? Shut up. Autopilot. Talia's backwards motivation. Okay, that's a little fair because she sleeps with him, but also wants to take him down. So, okay, that's 2 good points. And then Batman's magic knees. Have you read any of the comic books? The whole, Batman pretty much breaks every bone in his body and then creates an exoskeleton so he can still keep fighting crime. This is on point. Shut up. The ending of The Dark Knight, which is the best ending of any movie ever. Shut up.
That ending is perfect. How can
why does Screen Rant hate Christopher Nolan so much?
Hold on, I want to read.
Killing off Two-Face after Aaron Eckhart barely had the chance to shine. He's in the whole movie. The ending in which Batman has to go on the run is a bit forced. No, it's not. It's the entire point of the entire movie, and it's why the Joker wins, because Batman has to accept that he can't be the hero that he can't be who he wants to be. He has to be the thing that gets the dirty stuff done, right? He wanted to be a hero for the people, and he has to make the choice because of the Joker, who wins in this movie, that he resigns to his role as the Batman or whatever. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Batman says it's to take the fall of Harvey Dent so none of his work is done. Yes. However, it is the very first idea that Batman jumps to when there are other options.
Okay.
It's poetic.
I want to argue right here. They could have said that the Joker forced Harvey Dent to commit those crimes, or that Dent fell to his death trying to save Gordon's family. There were witnesses to the murders, no, people wouldn't have believed that.
It just feels like an easy cop-out for Batman to exploit so he has a reason to retire.
No.
But he didn't retire after that.
It's like a Greek tragedy.
Yeah,
The Dark Knight is beautiful.
He retired even in Nolan's film. He retired. You find out in 3 that he still fought crime. He still did everything. He just didn't have the support of the police department, and they were hunting him. And then it was because of his knee, which arguably, again, Dark Knight Rises had some plot holes in it, but it was because of his knee he couldn't fight anymore. He couldn't walk anymore. He couldn't do any of that stuff anymore. And that's why he retired. And they allude that they don't even allude. They come out and say it in Dark Knight Rises. People are morons.
Yes, Martina, it is George Clooney that had the bat nipples. If you want to make fun of a Batman movie, make fun of Batman and Robin. Don't make fun of Christopher Nolan's almost perfect trilogy. That the third one wasn't the best. Okay,
Batman and Robin was, as a kid, awesome. Right, as a little kid, you watched that. We were all probably around 10 years old when that came out. That thing was amazing. You watch that as an adult now, and you're like, this is a hot sack of garbage. So bad.
I loved Mr. Freeze as a villain, though. Just so fun as a kid.
Everybody's faults and
he has a freaking bat credit card, man, and ski, and ski ice skates that pop out of his boots. Like, it's so good.
My favorite part was rubber lips.
Inspector Batman.
Yeah. What were you going to say something, Tanner?
I mean, if you've read like Silver Age Batman comics, when Robin was introduced, there's all kinds of that ridiculous stuff.
Sure.
Because in the Silver Era, that was when parents were like, "Hey, our kids are reading these comics and they're too violent and blah blah blah." So they became very kid friendly, and so it was like the Joker went from "I'm gonna kill this guy" to "I'm trying to rob the bank," and then like Batman and Robin catch the Penguin in a bird cage, and he's like, and it got a whole lot goofier. And like in the Batman and Robin movie, all that stuff that was kind of typical for the Silver Era. But
it was very comic bookish. But it does not hold up well.
Yeah, Alan, like you said, comic books are insane.
Yeah,
and if the closer you are to the insane stuff, the weirder your comics are going to get.
Oh, it just doesn't make sense why these people hate Christopher Nolan so much. Like Screen Rant has some personal vendetta against the man. For what I don't know.
Too hard for them to follow. There's too much story in it.
I know. Like all of these questions are like, the how did Batman escape the explosion? How did he do it? It's literally set up in the film that he gets the autopilot to work.
The ending of the
Dark... Do you read books? Do you know how to read?
No, people don't read anymore. The end of the Dark Knight 2 is like, it's set up thematically. Like, that's the whole theme of the movie. And if you're just like, oh, the Joker, he kills the people.
I don't
and you miss the whole theme of what's going on with where Batman's like, oh, maybe Harvey, there's a good person now who will take care of the problems that I can't. And
then the Joker gets caught at the end of the movie, so he didn't beat Batman. But also the Riddler got caught, but in this case he did beat Batman because he got to shoot the guy under the light. The Riddler is better than the Joker. The Riddler is. The glorious
thing about the Dark Knight is the Joker doesn't find out who Batman is.
Yeah, because he doesn't care.
Well, no, I know he doesn't care, but like he doesn't find it out. So Batman still has the bad guys caught, and the bad guy can't be like, oh, it's this person. Like, it was very well done. The Dark Knight was a very good movie.
Okay. We've got more bad takes, everybody. This one's good. Batman and 007 casting backlash is a disease, says actor who can't get cast in movies because he was in 50 Shades of Grey.
What?
Yeah.
He's got a point. Okay.
You become the whatever they call them. You become the sex slave master in 50 Shades of Grey. Your movie career is kind of shot, you know.
I looked it up. I looked up his IMDb. He's been in a TV show. He hasn't. He doesn't have work.
Other actors, they're like, oh, this dude was in James Bond, or this dude was in this show, or this dude was in Batman, or this dude was in The Flash, or this dude was in, I don't know, some rom-com.
There was back.
This guy was the guy who beat a girl during sex for 50 Shades of Grey.
There was a lot of backlash when they cast George Clooney as the Batman. And then they watched the movie and they're like, oh crap, we were wrong. George Clooney was great. And then he was in another movie, right? Or sorry, not George Clooney.
Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton. Yeah, there was rightful backlash when they
Oh,
cast
yeah.
George Clooney. But yeah, people were up in arms about Michael Keaton, and then they watched the movie and they're like, "We were totally wrong."
Because up until that point, he was like the romantic comedy guy, right?
There was a bit of backlash when they announced Ben Affleck, but most people were like, he's not my first choice, but I could see it. Let's wait to watch the movie.
Right.
And there was like a murmur when they cast Robert Pattinson, but most people were like, we watched Good Time. We know he's going to do a good job.
Yeah, I think
and Tenet. He was great in Tenet too.
This has not been a problem for like 10 years.
Yeah.
Unless you're talking about casting, a black Snow White, then, some people complain about that.
I am not a big fan of Ben Affleck. I haven't been a fan of a lot of his movies. I really liked how he played the Batman.
He was a great Batman.
But all thing about Justice League and the problem that movie was aside, him as Batman, I think he did a phenomenal job. One of my favorite scenes in Batman movies of all time is the scene of Batman and Wonder Woman after the fight. And Ben Affleck pours himself some whiskey and he's trying to get off his suit, and he's fighting gods. He's a human among gods. And he's like all beat up and just this, and you can tell he's a man of he's John Wick of just sheer freaking will, right? I thought he did a very good job as Batman. I really did.
He did.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember any backlash when they cast Daniel Craig as 007? He'd been in a bunch of gangster movies. He was in Layer Cake. And,
he was also in Golden Compass.
Yeah, that was after 007, I believe.
That came out as the same year as his first time being 007.
Okay, but before 007, I think all he'd been in was like hardcore gangster movies where he's like a cocaine dealer. Was anyone complaining about him being cast as 007?
I think it was mostly
his blonde hair. They mentioned he's blonde, and people didn't like that.
I think it was. So here's the thing: people that are like hardcore 007 fan. I maybe this is a generational thing because I didn't watch any James Bond movies until Daniel Craig. And I think
because those were the movies that were coming out when we were old enough to watch movies.
Yeah, and I think older generations were used to like the Connery, older guys playing the suave,
that's not fair though, because they had just come off of
Pierce Brosnan,
who was pretty young,
and Sean Connery was pretty young when he played.
Yeah, Sean Connery was young.
He's
when
old
he started.
now, but he was
Sean
young.
Connery was young when he started playing 007, and he was old when he stopped.
Right. He just played 007 for so long.
They brought him back. They recast him and then brought him back for another movie. You know that, right?
British people.
To bring it back to this article, though, it just goes to show you, like it's Jamie Dornan or something. I just read Jamie Dornan that played the guy from 50 Shades of Grey. No one, I mean, he can't, and like we're talking about, no wonder he can't get roles. Like I said before, you were in a softcore porn movie that was built off of a book that is absolute filth. It is absolute filth.
It's a real. People shouldn't judge. The casting backlash is a real problem because I can't get in. I can't get in.
Right. Well, that's what it is. You have got to, as a star, you cannot. You have to pick out. You have to pick out
choose your roles.
You know are not going to affect your career later on. And picking out a movie that is so.
I think the girl has actually been cast in a lot of movies.
Somebody look up her.
Look it up.
She's been in a lot of movies. She was in the Peanut Butter Falcon. She's been cast a lot. After 50 Shades of Grey, she was recently in Peanut Butter Falcon. That was really good. She was in the hard times at the El Royale, and she was really good in that one.
50 Shades Freed.
Oh yeah, she was in 50 Shades Freed. No,
yeah, she
she actually has gotten a lot of work since 50 Shades of Grey.
I think
but she's also been in stuff before.
Oh, did I say that out loud? My bad.
She's also been in stuff before 50 Shades of Grey too.
Yes, she was. He wasn't.
Right, exactly.
You've got to pick. You have got to, when you're an actor, look at the movie that you're in and honestly think, especially when you're starting out. And I'm not saying this from personal experience, because obviously we're not actors, but as a person looking in on it, you can't start your career on something like this and then expect to get other roles when everyone knows you as the dude who played a sex perv.
Yeah.
I think Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson, they also, like, not that they played sex pervs, although, but with the Twilight films, I mean, people were like, oh, they were in those terrible vampire movies. Yeah. But they, thankfully, because of how popular that series was and how gullible young teenage girls are, they were able to make a ton of money and then just pick projects that they liked until eventually now they're coming back into, mainstream movies that people are like, oh, dang, they're good.
But if you want
he was in Harry Potter, though. Robert Pattinson was in Harry Potter.
True. Yeah.
In 4. And he's done a lot of good stuff. And going off of that, did you know that 50 Shades of Grey was actually a fan fiction based off of Twilight?
Yes.
Like,
that's a terrible script. And it was, I couldn't understand, like, why it got so popular, because I was in my senior year of high school.
Well, it got popular with lonely moms.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It did. I went on a cruise really when that book was big. My family took a cruise. We took a cruise down to the Caribbean, and everyone
was rating it.
I think every woman on that cruise, at least 50% of them, when you'd walk up on deck or something, was reading 50 Shades of Grey. It was anyway. Yeah.
If you Dakota Johnson is the girl in 50 Shades. If you want a good movie, Bad Times at the El Royale, 2018. She's in that.
I heard of that one.
She does a fantastic job in that movie. So anyway, this is a horrible take. We've got a couple. These ones will go real quick. What if Luke Skywalker killed Ben Solo? Star Wars would be very different. Oh. What if something very different happened? Would things be different?
Yeah,
that's great. Why so many Bond girls betray 007? It's called the femme fatale. It's not new.
This has been since LA Noir, Chicago Noir style 20s, 30s.
It's not a new thing. Film noir much? It's a bad take. Here's another one. Serena Williams wants King Richard to start an MCU franchise.
Did anybody know? Did Oscars? Did anybody know King Richard was a movie?
Tanner did, and that's it.
So out of our group, which are we like movies. I mean, we're nerds. We like movies. We pay attention to coming out. Out of our group, I mean, this is 25% of us knew there was a movie.
I heard that they were making a movie. I had no idea that it was already made, and I didn't know that Will Smith was in it.
But did you hear? When I heard King Richard,
2 questions though.
I thought King Richard the Lionheart. I thought King Richard anything, and then I find out it's the tennis movie about Serena Williams, who, by the way, has been found guilty of cheating in her matches recently and pulled the, without getting political, I'm just saying, pulled the "you don't like me because I'm black" card. Yes. No, because your coach literally said, yes, I was helping her cheat, and she was, I'm black and you hate me. That woman gets this movie, and she wants, I'm a Richard, I like MCU franchise.
There's 2 problems with this. First off, what would the spinoffs be? just
Ooh.
like the other sport. Yeah, Tanner.
Ooh. Okay. All right. So Serena
Oh.
and Venus Williams were introduced to them. Then a seemingly unrelated sequel of a I'm trying to think of a really obscure sport that people don't really watch.
Cricket.
Rugby.
Curling.
There's a
Curling.
true life curling story, and it's another child prodigy, and then you have a third one of a kid of the best Rubik's Cube solver of all time, and then at the end of the Rubik's Cube one, Will Smith comes as their dad and says, "Hey, I want to recruit you."
Will Smith is the
He
recruiter
becomes
for
Nick
for
He's
Fury.
Nick Fury. Yeah.
he's the Nick Fury of
He
the
says, "Hey, I want to
sports-
recruit you."
the sports cinematic universe.
Yes, and then
It would have to be called the cinematic universe of sports.
yes,
Yeah.
and then Bobby Fischer comes from
Ooh, Bobby Fischer.
He's been missing. He comes from an interdimensional portal with an army of aliens, and then
because everyone's searching for him.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
it's just the Avengers again. That's my pitch.
Or you can have the Looney Tunes. Get this. They open a portal.
Get this. Here's and the second problem is no one watched King Richard. How would you start a franchise off of a movie that no one watched?
I would have never known what it was had the Oscar slap not happened.
Yeah. The thing that you said, Corbin, I thought it was like a period drama. I thought it was about King Richard.
When I heard King Richard, I was like, wow, they decided to really, which I'm fine with, whatever,
thought-
you know.
And then I was like, Will Smith as King Richard.
Will Smith is King Richard.
They made
the
King Richard
Lionheart.
black. What?
Yeah, that would make total sense in medieval England. Sure, why not?
The other thing is, I definitely can acknowledge that Serena Williams has accomplished impressive things in sports, right? But I've never liked her attitude. I'm a tennis player. I'm not super good, but tennis is my sport. And I really despise how Serena Williams acts on the court. She's constantly anytime anything goes wrong on the court, she'll break her racket, slam it onto the ground multiple times until it busts. And she has a huge temper issue that no one else in tennis has. Tennis is the gentleman's sports where people are very courteous and respectful, and I've never liked her in tennis. But she got a movie because she's the best. They could do a spinoff where that the time she played a man and completely got destroyed. So
Who was ranked 214 by
yeah.
the way.
And then Will Smith shows up and recruits him. So that's a bad
King
take.
Richard was just okay. It wasn't great. My favorite part was Josh Bernthal, the Punisher. He plays one of the coaches.
Uh-huh.
And I think they missed. I don't know if this was what they were going for, but Serena Williams' dad was kind of an a-hole.
He was not a good person.
No.
Yeah, and Jacob agrees with me. Serena Williams has the most unsportsmanlike behavior in any sport.
She does,
and it's in a sport where people where that's even worse. Her behavior would be unsportsmanlike in hockey, where that's part of the sport. She
throws temper tantrums on the court.
Yes,
that's what it is. She throws temper tantrums on the court. And the last time she threw a big temper tantrum, and they caught her cheating, and she did everything but admit cheating. And when she's backed into a corner, she's like, "You're accusing me of cheating because I'm black. F off." I'm sorry. My gosh.
Oh, okay. We got more takes. Daredevil season 4 can continue one major MCU phase 4 show trend, completely falling apart in the finale. No, but what they suggest is even worse. a Daredevil project is probably in the works, and it could continue the Phase 4 trend. What do you think the Phase 4 trend is?
Passing the baton.
Making the show not about Daredevil. They're saying
Wow.
that's literally been our problem, or my problem at least, with all of the Disney Plus shows. Hawkeye wasn't about Hawkeye. It was about Kate Bishop, which is fine if you want to make a show called Kate Bishop. Do that. But don't call it Hawkeye. So this is the
That would
worst
be
take.
dumb too, because everyone loves Charlie Cox as Daredevil.
Yeah, he's so good as Daredevil.
You don't need to, and he would be a good foil to the rest of what's going on
I
Agreed.
want so badly
in the MCU.
I want so badly to see a Spider-Man Daredevil team up.
Yes.
Yes. That happens
Those are some of
comics.
the best comics.
Yeah. Agreed.
The mouse just wants some more princesses. I honestly I don't know if that's a comment about the MCU or about the King Richard cinematic universe, because it can go both ways. Yeah. Okay. This one is the worst one in my opinion. These next articles are I have because they're interesting. I actually want to talk about. The Batman repeats the Indiana Jones thing where if he wasn't in the movie, nothing would change. You guys know about that, you know.
Yeah. If Indiana Jones
it's
did
kind
do
of
anything,
valid.
they still would have opened the Ark of the Covenant and all gotten sucked up, and then the Ark would have been lost.
It kind of
History
makes sense because the Joker still could. I mean, the Riddler still could have done all of those things, but I don't think it makes sense in this context because the Joker was doing it for the Batman. Like he wanted to be Batman's friend,
and he used Batman to accomplish his plans. That was part of the plot.
So I really don't think that this is valid.
Yeah.
I thought it was an interesting take. It's just really shallow, and it doesn't hold up.
Yeah.
But I brought this up not because it's a bad take, because it's interesting. I wanted to talk about it.
It's not as bad as the previous takes for sure.
Yeah, no. So that wasn't a bad take. Screen Rant, good job. 1 out of 15.
So many.
But this next one is actually interesting too. A Florida man breaks the record for watching Spider-Man No Way Home 292 times. He broke his own record of watching Avengers Endgame 191 times, and he beat it by 100 times.
That's a lot of tickets.
Did he watch it though, or is it just, hey, I put it on and looped it?
I liked Spider-Man No Way Home.
I know, but 290.
But it's not that good of a movie.
It's like 3 hours. Is that right?
$3,000 watching. Yeah.
Yeah.
He spent 876 hours, or 36.5 days of his life watching a movie. Good Lord, get it.
Who has? Well, first off, like, does he not have a job?
I don't know. Maybe that is his job to promote movies or something. I don't know.
But
he gets paid too much. If that's the case, it doesn't matter what he's paid. If they pay him $100, it's too much.
I mean, even then though, like if I pick out like my top movies, my favorite movies of all time,
I still wouldn't want to watch it 300 times. No.
That's gonna ruin the movie for me. It's like, no.
Florida man has depression. Yeah. I think there's something going on with Florida man for sure. This next one is super interesting. Scientists use facial reconstruction technology on the Skyrim skeletons.
I saw that.
This is the coolest thing ever, guys.
That's cool.
Like, first up, this is so stupid and so awesome at the same time. So they've done this with real skeletons, and the guys use the technology like, hey, let's pull up Skyrim and see what, because it was specifically an ancient skeleton from an extinct civilization in Skyrim lore that doesn't exist anymore, and so this is what they looked like. And then the creators of the game saw the tweet and they're like, yeah, that's kind of what they would have looked like, I guess. But this is hilarious. This is like, with great power comes great responsibility. This is like the ultimate demonstration of how to use that power responsibly.
When nerds complete college.
Exactly.
When
Exactly.
nerds complete college and have super advanced doctorate degrees and do this stuff for a living.
Use your powers for good. Okay. This gives me hope in humanity.
What is the Indiana Jones crusade? You have chosen wisely.
Yes.
There's something about things like this where, as an educator, I wish I could tap into this.
Yeah.
With my students, where I'm like, dude,
they made a video game guy. They made a guy. They made him. He's real now.
You should be curious enough. Just that, I mean, this guy probably was like, hey, I do skeletal reconstruction, and he was playing Skyrim one day and was like, wait a sec. What could this look like? And then that goes into the process of figuring out how to solve.
Let me use some government resources to do this.
Yeah, like it's so cool, and I wish
half the other crap they use it for.
Yeah, honestly, if I don't even know if this was like, it was probably taxpayer funded, but it's a much better use of our money than what
I didn't know that I wanted to see this. Like, I didn't know the hole in my life existed until I saw this, and I was like, yep, I actually have always wanted to know that. I just didn't know.
You know another awesome technology that we have that I've always been curious about? You know how they have those missing persons photos, and they're like, this person has been gone for like 5 or 10 or 20 years. This is what they may look like today.
Yeah.
I really want to see like a documentary series of them like actually giving photos of someone who's not missing, of course, and giving their baby photos and seeing how accurate it is.
Yeah, that'd be great.
If you see what they are today, because I'm like, how do they know? How do they know that? I would love to see a documentary series about that.
It's crazy how much your bones can determine it's nuts.
Yeah.
They are pretty accurate, but I would like to see a documentary on that.
I mean, I don't doubt that they're accurate. I don't doubt that they've done those tests, but I would like to see them. I would like to see the results and see how accurate they are, because I've seen some of them. It's just like a baby photo, and it's like, oh, this person is 20 years old now. We have no idea where they are, but this is what they might look like. I'm like, how the hell do you know that?
It's hard to know like what the facial hair is going to look like, but you can get the shape of the face pretty accurate. Yeah. What's interesting to me about this is like the guy who designed the skeleton, like to see this happen and to know that, like, hey, I did a kind of okay job at creating a skeleton. It's like reverse engineered, Yeah. Because if you make mistakes in the anatomy of a skeleton, if you just see the skeleton, you might not notice. But then if someone takes a facial reconstruction of that skeleton and you totally like phoned it in and it comes out looking like a monster, you're like, oh, well, I'm not actually good at skeleton anatomy. But like the fact that they actually did a good job and this looks like a human that could exist is even more impressive. Yeah. Like I would love to talk to the guy who made the original skeleton designs. You'd be like, you're good. You did a good. I'm so proud of you.
And also,
you made a good skeleton.
And also, this dude kind of looks like one of these Skyrim.
Yeah, he does. He does. He looks like the Skyrim models.
So, I mean, that links up that the skeleton would match up with the... I can hear this guy saying Skyrim belongs to the Nords. Like,
yeah, what's the famous opening line that everyone memes? Oh, you've woken up. We're on the
oh, good, you're awake.
You're good, you're awake. Yeah, I have not played through Skyrim. I own it, and I just haven't done it because I didn't own it when it was a thing.
I'm still doing
Morrowind is
side
where it's
quests.
What, David?
I said Morrowind is where it's at.
Oh yeah,
That game
yeah.
is so good.
Yeah, that was just free. Oh, I got it on Amazon. It's for free. And I forgot to bring up. Remember how Game Rant was clowning on Epic Games for giving out a free game that wasn't good enough?
Yeah.
Go to Epic Games this week and you can get freaking XCOM 2 for free.
And another game along with it.
Yes, it's not just XCOM. XCOM 1, I haven't played 2 yet. XCOM 1 is one of the greatest games I've ever played.
Really good.
It's amazing, and I'm getting XCOM 2 for free. So everyone go to Epic Games, give the middle finger to Game Rant, and get a free game.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up now because they had another game along with it this week, and I was like, I can't believe it. Insurmountable. I don't know anything about that one.
The Chad is doing his 20th playthrough of Skyrim, and he wants to go find the skeleton. Yeah, I don't. It'll say, the ancient.
Atamorian.
There you go. There you go. Go find that one. I plan on playing through Skyrim. I just haven't gotten to it yet.
Elder Scrolls is just, there's so much.
Yeah.
Like you can spend your whole life playing those games, you know?
Yeah.
Especially if you get into the online, Elder Scrolls Online.
Or if you start modding. Yeah.
Modding Skyrim.
A lot. Well, I don't know what happened to Corwin. It sounded like he was in the middle of making a point. But those are pretty much all the articles that we got for you today. I've got 2 special Babylon Bee Easter surprises, though. So here, this is the funniest thing ever. Report just in. It is finished. Because Easter.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny. It's dumb.
Nice.
This is even better. Can you name the Christ? Can you name the Christ figure in each of these 10 Marvel movies? Brought to you by crossexamined.org. Okay, Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy. What's the Christ figure in Guardians of the Galaxy?
Let's see. So the first one,
it's Chris Pratt's Walkman.
It's the Walkman.
Because
he's got soul and inspires him to defeat.
It inspires him to defeat Ronan the Accuser, who represents Satan. Obviously. The next one is Ant-Man. Who's the Christ figure in Ant-Man?
Antony.
Yep. It's everyone's favorite flying insect steed. It's Antony, who took a bullet to save Paul Rudd from certain death. Okay, don't look. Captain Marvel. Who's the Christ figure in Captain Marvel?
The cat.
No. It's you. The Christ figure is you, the viewer, who suffered through 2 hours of this movie. So you can tell others how bad it is.
That's
and
good.
They wouldn't have to suffer the same thing. Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Oh, Corin, you missed it. We're going over Babylon Bees. Can you name the Christ figure in these 10 Marvel movies? And right now we're on Guardians of the Galaxy 2. What's the Christ figure in Guardians of the Galaxy 2?
What do they mean by Christ figure?
Sacrificed himself.
How if you watch The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and Aslan is Christ in that. This is an Easter special. We're bringing the Christ back into Easter for Marvel movies. So Guardians of the Galaxy. Well, the best one is Captain Marvel. The Christ figure is the viewer who suffered the sins of having to watch the movie.
I mean, a realistic
on that.
Captain Marvel. Tangent?
Why is another tangent? Why does Captain Marvel related? Why does Disney and Hollywood want us to like Brie Larson so damn bad?
I don't know. She's very
Why?
unlikable.
Why? Like every article I see when I'm just scrolling through, Brie Larson, Brie Larson, Brie Larson, Brie Larson, Brie Larson. I don't like her. She is not a good actress.
She's very wooden.
Yeah.
She's the Christ figure. Because the cross.
Or she
That was
cross.
bad, Alan.
Yeah, that was bad. That was a bad joke. Okay. Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
The real answer would be
Pac-Man.
Yondu.
It's the big Pac-Man that Chris Pratt turns into a beautiful picture of the incarnation and hypostatic union. He's 100% Pratt and 100% Pac. The Avengers. Who's the Christ figure in Avengers?
Well, the dude that gets his eye stabbed out.
One?
Yeah. Oh, that would be a good one. The guy who stands up to Loki. Or no, that's a different character. It's just a random guy who gets his eye poked out.
Yeah.
The Christ figure is Jesus. Jesus here is represented by Nick Fury, who assembled the Avengers, much like Jesus assembled his disciples. Follow me, and I will make you killers of Thanos. Avengers Infinity War. Here we go. Thanos represents Jesus here because as he snaps, he raptures half the population. Similar
That's
to how
good.
Christ would come. Oh. And then Spider-Man No Way Home. Who's Christ in Spider-Man No Way Home?
It's Tony Stark because even in death, he's the hero.
Andrew Garfield.
Because the movies are still about Iron Man.
Yeah.
The 3 Spider-Man represent the Trinity here.
Okay.
We're not sure which one is Jesus, though. More
All right,
research
No
is
Way Home.
needed. We will just have to watch the movie a 17th time for research, or a 292nd time. Doctor Strange.
Well, I mean, the realistic answer would be Doctor Strange because he suffered.
Yeah, because he does
And he
the
sacrifices himself to save.
It's Doctor Strange, right? You might think it's Doctor Strange. He sacrifices himself for mankind, but you'd be wrong. It's actually the cloak of levitation, which clothes Strange much as we are clothed in Christ's righteousness. You dummy.
Who is right? Is this the Babylon Bee?
It's the Babylon Bee.
Yeah.
It's
a
satire, bro.
satirical.
Iron Man 3. This is brilliant satire.
The president when he's in the suit and being hung.
Yeah. Corin, in case you missed it, this is brought to you by Cross Examined from the Babylon Bee. Okay, so Iron Man 3, it's all 300 of the Iron Man suits flying around during that crazy finale, and that's supposed to represent a separate Christ figure. Yeah, that one's not the best. But in Thor Ragnarok, the Christ figure is really powerful. It's Jeff Goldblum, who warns humanity against cloning dinosaurs, just like Jesus warns us not to sin. It's powerful stuff.
That's so stupid.
You want to know what the best part of this is? This article is sponsored by a real book called Hollywood Heroes. They're making fun of their sponsor.
That's hilarious.
Like it's a book saying like, oh hey, let's teach the gospel through Hollywood movies, and they're totally just blasting their own sponsor here. That's all the news we got for you. That's Screen Rant's bad takes and some extra cheese on top. Whew. You guys want to talk about Raised by Wolves?
Man,
Oh, man.
it's
We're like
already
2
8:30.
hours in.
Well, I tried to make it quick, but Corwin kept wanting to talk about How I Met Your Father.
We did take 20 minutes to talk about Harry Potter with me at the beginning, so
That's true.
I guess I can't really complain. I'm gonna need some help. Remember, we're the individual
Episode 8.
episode is episode 8, right?
Yes, episode 8. So
Right.
episode 7 ends with Marcus saying, I'm the Christ figure. I'm the prophet. I'm the orphan boy in the
Yes.
lost land." And then this one opens
Because
up.
he had some
Yes.
voices in his head.
He just barely fought himself and stabbed himself, and then Mother is severely injured and ran away because Father's finger saved her. The little like the finger thing, and
Yep.
then
Which was
yeah, and the girl who's pregnant because she got rapid Tempest runs away, and that's when this one starts.
Yeah. So episode 8, I have the most notes of any episode of Raised by Wolves.
This is probably the most important episode.
Yeah, a lot happens.
In regards to like foreshadowing stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
and actually explaining the plot that's not explained. But you might not get it yet. This explains a lot of stuff that happens in season 2 that I was like, oh, I'm really glad I rewatched this. So,
gotcha.
David, I'm mad props to you. I don't take notes when I'm watching stuff.
It's really, really hard. I have to pause it regularly. Like, oh crap, I'm not taking notes. Let me just jot some things down. Yeah, it's really, really hard, especially when the shows are good. When the shows are bad, it's easy to take notes and tear them apart. But yeah, when the shows are good, it's really, really hard to remember to take notes on it. But this one, I had a lot of notes.
This one slows down too. There's a lot of dialogue scenes.
There is, yes.
A lot of exposition given in this episode. You basically have two plots. You have the mother fixing herself with the android in the crashed heaven ship.
Yes.
And getting a bunch of really, really important exposition about how the world works and stuff in the past. And then you have Campion and Paul trying to escape with their friends and Sue and Marcus
being
going nuts.
Yeah. I think this was the episode when I was like, dang it, Marcus. I was rooting for you. And now I'm just like, he's
such a good actor, but oh my gosh, I hate him so much.
Yeah.
I hate his stupid face.
He is insane in the membrane.
But he's more interesting when he's crazy. So
for sure. He definitely plays the unhinged lunatic very, very well.
I mean, if you started hearing God's voice in your head, though, would you have done? Would you have done it differently?
But is it God?
As far as he knows,
is it God?
Who?
That's a good question.
Who's he to say?
It's sounds like it's soul. So,
but I think that I think Sue brings up a good, like, she is very much like dude, okay, no, like, we're both atheists. You're probably having some kind of mental breakdown. Like, stay with me. But he's like, it's the real thing. But then at the same time, I mean, there's it's a bigger question than I think in our world, because I think a lot of people, question like, is it an actual voice you are hearing? Is it your own psychosis?
Yeah.
With matters of spirituality a lot of the time. But here it's a lot different because, like, there are things that were prophesied that are happening on the planet.
And so it's like
be a lot harder to just say, no, I'm just crazy, when it's like, oh geez.
When there are things that are happening that are proven true, and you're like, okay, so I mean, does that mean that God is true, or does that mean that whoever this thing is that we call God got some things right.
Yeah. Is this the episode? I'm reading Martina's comment where he's having trauma induced by identity crisis. Was episode 8 the one that opened with his dream of him tearing off his own face?
Yeah.
That was creepy.
It's like, I know who I am, and just like,
At first I thought he was like cutting in the little scar tattoo things of the atheists or whatever, but then he like peels his face off and throws it on the floor.
Because that's not his face.
And I know, but it's just like
so good. It also has another flashback to Marcus and Sue before they were Marcus and Sue get onto the Ark. And
yes,
there's a suicide bomber,
which was very poorly placed and just blew up like a handful of other people that.
Yeah, but it was really good because
as well.
Because it was talking about it was a flashback to focus on their relationship and how they're like, look, it's just we can always count on each other, and then it pulls back to the future where she cannot count on him anymore.
Yes.
Yeah. Another thing that that Martina girl said, like he's really scary, like an abuser. Like it's hard to see that because like the episode where his character, I mean, he comes and in the first episode, but episode 2 where you really get to know him, like Paul is like, oh, you want me to kill the mouse? He's like, no. And he's like a good dad. And like everything is trying to save Paul. And then
in this scene, he has the scene where he's talking to Paul, trying to get information about him, trying to get information out of him about the mom. And it's super manipulative.
Yeah. Like it's
hey, you wouldn't do anything.
Yeah.
You wouldn't lie
tell
to me.
Yeah.
You wouldn't keep secrets from me. Tell me what your mom is planning. Tell me what she's planning.
Yeah. Which that was a really poor. I mean, I know Sue got away, eventually, but that was a really poor timing. When he's confronting Paul or whatever, just to yank him away and say we're leaving. That was like really, really stupid for her to do. You gotta bide your time.
Yeah, but it was in the moment. Her mother, because he'd hit him before. Remember?
Right. So
he just shoved him down and been abusive to the kid, and she told him never to do it again. And so when she sees it happening, it's obviously a bad time. But like
that's
grab the kid away and say leave him alone.
I'm a parent. That's what she did.
No, she said we're leaving. She grabbed him away and said, "Come on, Paul, we're leaving." Don't do that. That is a bad time to tell Caleb that you're planning on leaving him.
Okay, I guess David just doesn't love his kids as much as I do, but it would totally made sense.
No, I would have stepped in just like she did and said, I told you to keep away from him, keep away, and just walk away and go in the other huts, and then leave after he's out of the way and he's not watching you.
I think maybe David's just a little more level-headed than you or me, Alan.
Maybe.
Because like I probably would have. I don't have kids, but like. When she was like, I mean, I think that's great. She had an ultimatum like, you don't touch him again.
Yeah.
And then he did. And she's like, no, we're gone. I think that takes some real, obviously, this is a sci-fi show, they're actors, but it's hard when you're in certain situations
I agree. Yeah.
To leave. And like a lot of times with abuse, it's hard to be like, am I going to stay with them? And that could be a situation where he's a powerful religious figure. And like, she could have been like, ooh, I need to stick around. Am I going to survive without him? But she was just like, no, you don't hurt my kid. And then,
right. But most of the times when you have those abusive relationships, they leave in the middle of the night.
Yes.
When the abusive father's asleep, you don't leave right in the middle of a big conflict and say, no, I've had too much. I'm out of here.
Okay.
That is a very true point.
I'm just saying, I understand her reaction. It was just a bad idea. It was bad timing.
It wasn't the most practical reaction, but
exactly.
That's the point. It wasn't practical. It was emotional.
Right.
Because, those women,
They're so fickle.
can't control their emotions.
Yeah. Huge. I mean, Martina's writing a ton of comments, but I just a sense of dread was in my chest with the actors, with Paul and Sue, like all that's. I totally agree with you. Do you want me to shut up that you're making comments? Because I
No,
can't.
she's telling me to shut up because I made a derogatory comment about women.
Oh, okay.
One
She's
thing,
making these actors are good. They're really like selling what's going on. Marcus creeps me out, and I really feel for Paul too because he's a scared kid.
The Paul's actor, whatever his name is so good.
he is so good, and I love that. All this crap that he's going through, he's just like, oh, it's Saul. Saul is, he still has his faith in Saul, and Saul brought my mouse back. Saul is gonna do whatever, and that's not the way that that Sue sees things. That's not the way that Campion is seeing things. I love that. But another thing I was going to bring up right here is when Campion is locked up, right, and he's trying to get out, and he is telling himself father's jokes to keep his mind in the right place and not listen to Tally.
And we got like 6 jokes this episode.
Yeah.
The best one, of course, being why did the android cross the road? To return to his factory settings.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
good.
It was so good. I love that little thing in there. He's just telling himself father's jokes because it makes him feel at home. It makes him feel
and
comforted.
It's also like one of the creepiest scenes too. He's like doing it to like stay sane because the ghost of Tally is in the room the whole time whispering at him, and he's just like jokes.
Yeah. Yeah, it was so good and touching, and yeah, I love that.
So, yeah, in that storyline, the kiddos escape. He uses the creature's hands to dig out. And
another thing, I thought that was a little bit weird though. Paul says, "Oh, I'm going to help you escape or something."
Yeah,
and then, but he just uses the creature's hands that were already in there, right?
Well, he gave him the idea.
That was hanging.
Yeah, he told him how to escape. He said, "You're not going to like it. You're going to have to take the creature's hands and use them to dig."
Okay. I just thought it implied that he was going to do more to help him, like dig from the other side or something.
Well, he set a no, that was Campion. You're right.
Yeah. It was just a little weird, their whole plan there.
Yeah.
Another thing too, why are they still storing those radioactive potatoes if they're poison?
They can use them as fuel.
Oh, biofuel for the lander thing?
Yep.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yep, they don't eat them anymore.
Yeah.
Also, it looked like those were pretty old in the silo. So, like, and a lot has been going on. They might not have had time to, like, clear them out.
Yeah, But if they're using for fuel, because they
it makes sense.
mentioned that makes sense too.
So the kids escape. Campion sets fire to the temple. They try and use the lander, and it's been sabotaged by Marcus. And then they run away. Campion gets chased by Father, who's trying to kill him. And then they meet up. And yeah.
And that's the storyline with the kids, right?
That's the kids' storyline.
Then we've got Mother.
And then
I totally predicted what was going to happen.
You get literally my favorite scene from the entire show is just her talking to the other robot while doing a medical examination on herself. It is so creepy and so uncanny valley, the way that she moves in the best way, like this show uses the uncanny valley to its benefit because she is not human. When she's writhing on the floor, her movements are like sickening. because you're like, that's not human.
Yeah.
And like she like moves her belly. I'm like, what is this?
I like definitely. I mean, you got to give props to the whole crew here, because in casting, like that had to be something that they looked for, is someone that had the physicality to do that.
We're looking for a real Mark Zuckerberg type. You know?
You play dead. Can you just have no emotion? Like the forethought, the forethought in of the cat, like of the writing, the casting, everything is so good. And man, Mark Clark, glad you're here. This is
spread
Alan's
the
show,
word.
not
Get
me.
more people to talk about Raised by Wolves.
Yeah, it is really, really good.
Because I don't know of anyone else talking about it. But yeah, go on.
Yeah, but just like I think we need more of people that care about telling the story and making the art right, instead of corporations that are like, Harry Potter is brand recognizable. Let's make another Harry Potter spin-off series, but let's keep out the gay stuff for China so we can make money. Like it's a shame that.
Can you imagine if Raised by Wolves was made by Disney? Right? Like no. It's just this is art. Raised by Wolves is so good. And yeah, Disney has its place. You need kids movies, and you need superhero movies too. You need movies you can turn your brain off to. There's even an argument for Fast and Furious movies, okay? They're stupid, okay? But it's fun. Turn your brain off and watch cars fly. It's like Bollywood.
That's
yeah.
Like everything has its purpose, but like this Raised by Wolves, it's like sacred to me. It's like the last bastion of truth in Hollywood that just hasn't been perverted yet.
That good, huh?
I need that argument because, like I've mentioned, I'm a teacher and I work in a charter school in a pretty conservative area. So I've got some parents that are like I've had them be like, I don't want them watching PG movies, and it's like they're like really concerned about what their kids are seeing. And I had this idea to do a movie class for the older students, and I want to do PG-13 movies because there is art in there and there are things there that people need to see. And it's been interesting trying to think where is the art and where is the where's the filler, and like you said, Disney movies definitely have their place where they're children's entertainment, but there are Disney I would argue The Lion King is a work of art, and
definitely
Pirates of the Caribbean. Pirates of the Caribbean 1, that's a perfect movie, and I would call that art. It is pulp, but it's the end of the spectrum, like the Star Wars A New Hope, where it's pulp done so well that it is also art.
And I think Hollywood, it's become such a moneymaker that I think in its heyday and in the past, you had people that were just like, I like making movies and I want to make movies. Like I think Spielberg, a lot of his movies, it's like, let's use practical effects, let's make things good. And now it's just like,
he's become the villain.
Thankfully, though, there are some directors like Christopher Nolan that like to
Ready Player One.
Oh
gosh. Oh, sorry. Go on.
But Raised by Wolves is I wish I could tell these kids go watch this, but I think their parents would get mad at me.
It's been intense. Maybe
it's adult. It's for mature brains that can do it. And I believe it is
South African. I believe the writer is. Yeah, he's got a last name that's real hard to pronounce.
I've seen in the credits it also is like South African Film Board. So maybe we just need to.
I'm curious, Mark, what other South African shows have you seen that you could recommend? Because I would love to see more of this.
Maybe that's where
Yeah.
we need to go. If Hollywood is just about making money now,
Mhm.
maybe
Well, I
it's
mean-
elsewhere that the art is being made.
I mean, I've been preferring indie movies a lot more to blockbusters. I watched something recently. I was like, this clearly they spent zero money on, but it was still like a better story than I can't remember.
Some of the stuff,
Oh, District 9. Yes. Oh, okay.
District 9 is.
I
Really
have
good.
not seen Europa Report, but I've heard it's good.
Yeah,
I forgot about the District 9 director. He's done a lot of good things. Chappie was another one with the robot guy.
Yeah, I hadn't seen that one yet. That one's on my list to watch. No, I feel there's not everything that this studio makes is good, but Blumhouse Studios make some pretty good horror movies. Some of them are really stupid, really campy, but a lot of them are very low budget and just they're really, really good.
So their model is throw the spaghetti at the wall, and a lot of it's going to drip down, but occasionally you'll get something that sticks.
Yes, granted.
But they have been getting better and better at aiming their spaghetti.
Right, but they're also trying new things. They're not just rehashing the same old crap.
And that's fair.
They come up with an idea of a movie and they go out and they make it, and they don't care about the budget. They just do it, and sometimes it turns out amazing. Sometimes it's dumb and it's campy, but it's still fun. I haven't seen a single one of them that I hated and thought was terrible. You know, of course, I haven't seen everything that they put out, but
the whole reason why they can be successful is because they're taking risks. But Disney,
right,
because they're not taking risks anymore.
And
Exactly.
I think that's interesting. I think you see that in Disney parks. I love the history and the behind the scenes of the Disney parks. And back in its heyday, they were figuring out technology. They were figuring out how to make things work and experimenting,
pushing the envelope.
And now they've got kind of easier technology, still really creative, like optical illusions and stuff. But I think there was oh man, I can't remember the channel. I think it's Defunct Land, actually. He did like a 2-hour analysis of the Fast Pass system at Disneyland and how the original model that was designed to figure out a way to help people do the rides as much as they could worked. And the newer model that they're trying to do at the Disney parks now is just designed to make more money.
Yeah, the fast passes.
Yeah, and so I think, Disney, unfortunately, it's become too much of a business and less about making movies and entertainment, which is a shame because in its heyday they did some really innovative things. And
I recently, for the first time ever, splurged and took our family on like a big vacation. We took Elliot to Harry Potter World, Universal Studios. We didn't go to Disney World because he wanted to go to Harry Potter, right? And there were a lot of rides we went on, but there is the genre of the movie rides where you sit on a cart and it's not really a roller coaster, but there's like bumps and turns, and you basically just watch a movie. Like the Spider-Man ride, I don't know if you've been on that. It's fantastic. But it's the same genre. You're just sitting in a little cage and it kind of shakes you around and drops you a little bit, but it's mostly just watching the movie. Right. And there was the biggest difference. We went on the Spider-Man ride, and that one was fantastic. And then we went on the Mummy, which was it was incredible. Just they have like real fire, like and just really cool stuff. And then I went on Transformers, and it was literally the same thing, but the content was just so bad that it wasn't enjoyable at all. And to me, it really illustrates that difference of taking a risk. Like, oh, we already have the technology. We're just going to put a new skin on it. But it wasn't special. Like, it didn't have a purpose.
That makes sense.
If you like roller coasters, there's a big genre on YouTube of people explaining how rides came to be and the technology behind it. I love those videos. We kind of got way off of Raised by Wolves. I hope Mark Clark didn't get wasn't like, oh, now they're not talking.
This is a long episode.
Never come back, Mark. You derailed our whole show. Jeez. Hasn't anyone taught you manners?
No, I feel bad that he was like, "Oh, I loved it. You guys are the only ones talking about it," and then I'm like,
and then we stopped talking about it. Yeah, no, this is kind of par for the course for our show.
His comment talking about Raised by Wolves got us to not talk about Raised by Wolves. Yeah, you're evil. Okay, but yeah, well, it's a gem, you know.
It's a mind bender.
It's a needle in a haystack. It's so rare these days to get a show this good. Before we go back to Raised by Wolves, though, I will say there is a potential new good show on Amazon Prime that premiered yesterday. And for the first time, my wife had like time to like sit and watch a movie with me, and we just put it on. It's The Outer Range. It's with Josh Brolin and Imogen Poots. Imogen. I don't know how to say the first name. It's two. So they're doing 2 episodes a week, and there's 2 episodes out right now. It was one of the most interesting pilots I've ever seen. I don't know if the show is going to hold up, but man, my wife and I were both very intrigued. So if you're looking for something that might have more substance, maybe give that one a shot. So Raised by Wolves. What?
Sorry, I have a crush. I just Googled the show and looked at the cast, and now I have a crush on Imogen Poots. she's got certain things that I liked. So I'm a sucker for pasty girls with doe eyes and auburn hair.
Episode 1 you have to pay attention to. Yeah, you watch episode 1 and 2 together. Don't stop if you're gonna do it. Yes, it's very intriguing, and I'm very curious to see where it goes. It makes you think. So, Raised by Wolves. Mother is talking to an android, and
yes,
it answers some questions and gives some stuff about the world. It gives some world building that will become very, very important. And I totally missed this the first time around, but it talks about how the necromancers were made.
Remind me, because
again, so she's talking to the doctor. First off, I love that the doctor is slowly becoming more and more defunct because she's draining him his battery, his fuel blood, and the way he speaks is like that. It like stuttering sounds so good, but the conversation that's really important is the necromancers were always full of surprises because she's saying this is a new the conversation starts because she's expressing emotions, and he says, I'm an android, you don't need to express emotions for me, which means that androids in this world have a function where they mimic human emotion. Even because we've already tangent. We've already talked about how mother and father have emotions that other androids aren't supposed to have.
Right.
But in regular android, they have
they can mimic
emotional mimics, so that when they're in the company of humans, the humans aren't uncomfortable, which is brilliant. And all of that world building is done in a line of dialogue where he says, you don't have to show your emotions right now, I'm an android. That's beautiful. And then she responds saying, well, something's wrong with me. Me and my companion are both experiencing what we think are actual real emotions. And he's like, that is strange, that is surprising, but you are a necromancer after all, and your kind has always been full of surprises. And side note, before we go down that, there's probably more to Father than we realize as well, if
Yeah.
he's having these same issues. But he's not. We
Doesn't-
don't know that he's a necromancer. So
If I remember correctly, the reason why necromancers are different is because of the fuel that they mentioned, like some kind of like
dark photons. So he
Yeah,
says
like
you
dark
were
matter.
created with dark photons, and he says dark photons are a poorly understood technology designed and built by the Mithraic without possess. And she's like, how come they not understand a technology that they used to create me? And he says, well, they built it without a full understanding of their own technology. They followed the formulas they discovered were encrypted in their scriptures with no real understanding of the underlying concepts. The technology that powers you was a gift from Sol, passed down from the heavens at the dawn of man. That gives me chills.
Yeah.
And then
That's
she
deep.
responds, that's just Mithraic propaganda. I'm an atheist. And he says, perhaps. I only know what I've been programmed to believe. But of course, the same goes for you.
Yeah.
Like I have chills again. Just oh gosh.
There's so much more, like
Oh,
the question of is this soul stuff real? Like, is the religion real or not? And blows my mind. Do you guys? I still want to talk,
okay. Let's
but I
finish
gotta
talking
use the
about.
bathroom. I'm
Okay,
gonna
okay.
mute and stop my video. I'll be back in a little bit.
Okay.
But
well,
yeah,
David, yeah.
that dialogue was very good, very deep,
Yeah.
introspective. But
It's also
yeah,
very important
really
for
good.
season 2.
that's good to know. I'll keep that in mind.
It answered a lot. Rewatching it, I was like, oh.
Yeah. But as this was going on, I totally predicted that she was pregnant with a virus.
Baby.
A virus baby. What did I call it in here?
I don't know.
Campion Sturgis virus baby.
Um,
yeah, and then
So why were you thinking that? Because of her? Because when she had sex with him in the simulation?
because of that scene, and then she's like having cramps and cravings and stuff. I mean, of course, I didn't predict all of it that happens in the next 2 episodes. But I predicted this.
I would be amazed if you predicted the finale of this.
Yeah, I was like, what is going on?
She's pregnant with something, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's just weird.
But
yeah, that dialogue was great.
But Dave, I also know that you will appreciate this, David, that she kind of turns into a wolf when she's hunting down blood. She's like sniffing things, and
I noticed that. Yeah,
she drinks fuel blood, and then she drinks blood, because whatever is inside of her is some kind of fusion between biology and technology.
Yeah, which also doesn't quite make sense because it was a virus, but I don't know. Science.
Oh, Martina brings up a point. Okay, what if something was messing with her while she was in the pod, like what happened to Tempest?
Yeah,
I mean, that is
good point.
Pretty much what happened. So, whether that's something in the physical world or in the virtual world, yeah,
right.
Something got put inside her. Yeah,
she was physically plugged in, right?
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, I don't think there wasn't someone standing outside inseminating her.
Right. No, it came from the simulation, but it's very interesting. One note,
like a rape snake.
Yeah.
Oh, because she's finished.
So one note, I found another note from the children's storyline. I really liked how Paul was talking to both of his parents, right? His parents, and they were telling him different things about atheism, right? So he was talking to his mom, Sue, because he's friends with Campion, and Sue was very sympathetic with him, and he said, so you mean we don't have to treat the atheists like we did on Earth?
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, no, we don't. And then she's kind of tearing up and getting emotional because she was
an atheist.
He
Yes.
was an atheist. She is an atheist, and she knows how they were treated. But
Mhm.
then Marcus, on the other hand, says he wants him to stay away from the atheist boy. And I love that thing. He's so conflicted.
Well, he's developing the same prejudice, even though he is an atheist. Like, he's developing the same prejudices that the Mithraic people had against atheism.
Yeah. But I love that dynamic, especially the conversation he has with his mom. It's like, we don't have to treat atheists like we did back on Earth. It's like, oh, that carries so much emotional weight, And then just he was hearing the exact opposite from his father. Just, I feel so bad for that kid, But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so good.
Yeah. So, and then Tempest shows up after she realizes she's pregnant, and she's feeding it both fuel blood and blood. And Tempest shows up and has cuts on her hands, and Mother basically realizes she's going to try and kill her.
Yeah.
And so screams at her to leave, because there's like something physically taking over her capacities, which is crazy.
It's just super crazy because it's overriding her own motherly instinct for her other children.
Yes.
Right? It's superseding everything else.
It's
like these other children are just the practice. Or wait, was that the next episode?
Her protocols are overriding her other protocols. Yes.
Was that the next episode, or was that this one?
No, that's in this one. She's furious about it, she goes not to the same pod. She finds another pod in the downed ship where she is.
Yes.
Plugs into it, confronts Campion Sturgis's virus ghost thing.
Yeah.
That's what did you do?
She confirms that she's pregnant. Yeah.
Straight up says, I gave you a baby.
Give you what you wanted.
Yes. Oh,
be a
I
mother.
wrote it down. I wrote it down. Oh, yes. He says, I gave you what you wanted. I gave you a child that will always be a part of you. What you are carrying inside you is the mission. It always has been. Campion and the others were just a rehearsal. The future of humanity is growing inside you.
Okay. Tell me when we're talking about the later episodes.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
Are we going to go into the later episodes? Because it's already...
That's basic. That's the end of this episode. That's episode 8.
Yeah.
And so if you're watching the show and you've been watching along, we've been trying to do one episode a week. But
it was so good.
Tanner and David couldn't stop, and they watched the rest of season 1. Corwin hasn't done that, but he left, and I don't know how far Jared is. But
so I have 2 more notes on this episode, real quick.
Okay, I'm assuming what you guys want to talk about it, so we'll finish just talking about episode 8, and then we'll talk about the finale, which I have not seen. It's been 2 years since I watched the finale, so I might be a bit hazy on the actual events. Obviously, the big thing I remember, but go ahead.
Well,
David.
it's your show; it's up to you. But
we can.
As far as the other thing, I loved in the end episode wherever she's attacked by the Reaver creature thing or whatever. She tries to scream at it to try and blow it up. But of course she doesn't have her eyes. I thought that was an interesting touch. She tried to use her powers and didn't have them. And then the only other thing that didn't make sense at the end was when Sue and all the other kids are escaping and meeting up with before they meet up with Mother and Tempest. Actually, that might be in the next episode. But at the end of this episode, they're leaving, and then all of a sudden a Mithraic soldier just like pops up out of nowhere. And he's like, hey, you're not going anywhere. And then Campion like slings a rock at him and they escape. But like, where the heck did that soldier come from?
From the camp.
No, he did
from Earth.
He pops out like behind a tree, like they're walking away from the camp, and the guy pops out in front of a tree in front of them.
Well, because someone probably figured out that they left.
I know, but
They haven't been
he was ahead of
exactly-
them. It's
they
just
haven't-
weird. He just pops
well,
out of nowhere.
They haven't been going in a straight line. They've kind of been running away, and then they met up with Campion 2, and then they changed directions.
Yeah.
So it's been kind of chaotic. So it's possible.
Yeah. It was just kind of weird. Mark, there. You said she's my favorite. Who are you talking about? You're talking about Mother. Or you're talking about Sue.
Probably
Weird.
Sue.
We were talking about both of them.
Yeah, well, because if she's talking about putting realness to her, it's probably not Mother.
That's true.
Because her whole thing is not being real. And she
Yeah.
does, and the actress who plays Mother is incredible and does a really good job at playing a not human.
Yeah.
But yes, Sue is a great actress.
Sue was really good, and I think this episode too. She shined in this episode. The emotion that she showed on her face when she was talking with Campion and dealing with Marcus and everything. I thought she did really, really well in this episode.
Uh-huh.
So
that's it for episode 8.
That's it for episode 8.
Okay, I'm gonna put on a ticker. So David and Tanner were naughty, and they watched the rest of the season, 2 more episodes.
So good.
And they want to talk about it. And since the other guests aren't here, we'll quickly. So we're going to talk about the ending of just season 1, and I will try and not spoil season 2. But yeah, okay. You guys have been itching to get this out, so get it out. Snake baby, snake baby, snake baby.
How did I texted you after
You
I
did.
finished.
You texted
Alan.
me literally. So last week was Sunday. We got off this stream, and you went and started watching more. And I know because I got a text 2 hours later saying, "What?"
Yeah, freaking. I phrased it as freaking psychic flying giant serpents that lay their eggs inside of androids. Craziest show I've ever seen. It's insane.
What's funny is David was like so confident just 30 minutes ago. He's like, I totally predicted it. I predicted that she was pregnant. I knew it. Yeah, predict this, David.
Yeah, no, I did not predict this at all. It was very strange. I called it a flying lamprey baby because man, that thing was weird and creepy.
So I don't remember all of the specifics of episode 8 and 9. I obviously remember the big beats, but I'm looking forward to rewatching them and finding more clues for season 2.
Yeah.
But so I don't remember how the ghost girl plot plays out. Spiria. I don't remember how that plays out, but I do remember that they meet back up with the Fremen guy.
Yes, so that's result. Like Mother is.
Does he shoot Sue? He shoots somebody.
He tries to push.
He tries to attack Mother and Father as they're
Down
around the pit,
yeah.
deciding what to do about the psychic rape snake, and he comes up, and then they stop him, and he's dead, and then they unveil his face, and it's like it's kind of withered and looks kind of like the creatures that they've been hunting and killing,
but more humanoid, yeah.
Yeah, and they have the revelation, oh, these are humans that are de-evolving, that are becoming more like creature-like.
Yeah.
Not only that, but they specified that these are humans, but their origin is not from Earth. They're not originated humans.
So humanoids,
right?
An intelligent species.
So I'll remind you, I had a fever when I was watching this. Right? I was sick, and I binged all of season 1. I think it was 2 days. Like I was sick over Christmas break, and I signed up for a free trial of HBO because I wanted to watch. I wanted to show my dad Seven, and it was on HBO, which is a weird movie to watch with your mom and dad. Okay. No, actually, no. That was that was a different Christmas. But okay. Anyway, I was sick. I just realized that was the last time I went and saw my parents, but because we did it twice, so we had him sign up for a free trial last time. I can't remember why we'd signed up for HBO Max. It was for some other thing. But so we had it for like a month, and I was sick in bed, and I took 2 days to watch all of season 1. So I was already tripping balls, and then this ending happens, and I got very upset because I know the show's produced by Ridley Scott. And that finale happens, and I was like, you have got to be kidding me. This is just a prequel to Alien.
Yeah.
Because the Fremen guy looks very similar, like the Prometheus aliens.
He did, yeah.
And I had to look it up, and I was like, okay, it's not. It's different. And then in the same episode, you get the chest popper snake, and I was like, you bastard. You tricked me into watching an Alien movie. But it's not. I was very upset, and I did a bunch of research, and I was like, okay, this is just Alien adjacent. It has nothing to do with Alien. It's a completely own story. But I was like, that would have been the biggest troll of all time.
Yeah,
this is a secret
Prometheus
Alien
wasn't
prequel.
A troll already,
Right.
Some of the other big revelations in the last 2 episodes, Paul is hearing voices too.
Yes.
And he discovers a bunch of stuff that is off-putting.
What does he discover?
So he goes in and discovers a cave that has prehistoric writings or whatever, and then he also has a voice to tell him to burn those tarot cards that are like some data disc or something.
Oh, I forgot.
And he burns them in a fire.
I forgot about that. They find tarot cards,
and he also he finds tarot cards.
He destroys them.
He destroys them, and Mother scans one of them in episode 9, and
she starts having visions.
Yeah, this weird vision thing or whatever.
Wait, she finds one in episode 9. What's the vision
that
she has from scanning it? Tell me.
She has that vision with the cultists around that dodecahedron with that little alien spewing.
Oh my gosh!
Some vomit stuff or whatever, and then and that's where. When she goes into the cave, she finds that dodecahedron that's all decrepit, and that's where she births the lamprey alien snake rape baby.
I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah,
I can't say anything. Okay.
Yeah, it's really crazy. And then I think there was another thing that Paul saw.
Paul saw the drawings, like you mentioned. But it was a drawing of mother and father in the lander.
There are cave drawings, right?
Yeah,
right.
They're cave drawings.
And the snake was on the wall.
Go watch that scene again. Go study those cave drawings.
Because the one that stood out was it was a elongated rectangular shape with 2 humanoid figures at the front. And then 7 circles.
Yes.
Just like they had the embryos
the land pod.
Yeah. Pod, yeah.
This is my theory. And some other people share the same theory. And this hasn't been answered in season 2 yet either. So it's not spoilers. And I had this theory after finishing season 1. In those cave drawings, you also see 2 planets, right?
I have to go back and see. I don't remember.
Yeah,
I remember the lander, and I remember the snake, which the snake actually started to animate on the wall.
Yeah,
but I don't remember his planet.
But you see the voyage. You see like this trek from one planet to the other, and you see mother and father in a pod. It's not the order that you think it's in. That's not mother and father. That's Adam and Eve.
Okay. And the snake
is that's why the humans are not of Earth origin, because no humans are.
Oh. So this is like the original origin of the human species is on this planet.
Yes. I'm pretty sure that's what's going on.
Very interesting.
That. Oh, geez.
And if I'm looking forward to watching it again, but there's like symbols
Oh,
around the
jeez.
planets, and it's different. It's
Huh.
like it's set up to make you think, oh, this is like some kind of prophecy. It's actually not. It's history.
Yeah, my initial theory was somehow this is like cyclic or something.
That's it.
Something that they're doing is either reminiscent of the past or it sets up the past. Like there's some wormhole or something that whatever they're doing.
That's a good theory because
it could be both.
There's a lot that lines up biblically because you have the serpent,
the snake,
you have forbidden fruit, you have the
forbidden fruit,
the thing that they can't eat,
the radioactive potatoes,
the idea that there is a group of, the whole Cain and Abel thing where
the serpent is the beguiler,
Yes.
It tricked them into
it, and it didn't trick the father, the Adam
tricks
figure.
Mother.
It tricks mother,
Eve.
And then at the end of the episode, they're in the tropical zone. Father, mother, and the serpent are in the tropical zone.
Yes,
by themselves. The Eden. Interesting. Very interesting theories.
Wow.
Wow.
Gonna go watch it again. Well, first, I watched season 2 as well, and
here's the thing. Today I had some free time, and I was like, "What am I?" And last night too, and I was like, "Do I want to keep watching Raised by Wolves?" But it's heavy. It's like
it's taxing.
Yeah,
it's hard to watch the show. It drained it gives me, watching the show gives me anxiety. To me it's very akin to watching Dunkirk. Have you seen Dunkirk?
Yeah.
The sound design in that movie was engineered to give you anxiety, and the same thing with this show. It's like it's eerie and it's creepy in the best way possible, but it's draining.
Yeah. And then whenever we talk about it, then I get excited about it. I'm like, hey, I gotta go watch the next episode. So maybe that release of it, because like my mind's blown now with the interplanetary Adam and Eve, and like this is
it has not been answered in season 2. There are a couple things that kind of reinforce it. We're like, I think that's what's going on, but I had the same thought. So I'm really trying not to spoil season 2, but like these are the thoughts that I had when I finished it. I was like, this is a cycle. I thought it was a cycle as well.
Yeah,
I gotta learn how to make video essays because I would love to like pick it apart for theories and stuff and do stuff. That's
not a bad idea.
I'm hoping to do this summer is I'm actually trying to start up my own YouTube channel where I talk about books and nerdy things, but that's in the future. But like my mind, like that again, this is art because
even here's the thing, even if that's not the case, there's an obvious parallel.
Yes.
And that's by design.
That's definitely by design.
That's also beautiful.
Yes. Also, in the last episode, when Father and Mother and the snake are going through the center of the earth, they come we haven't
talked about that. So they try and kill themselves by flying into the core of the planet, right?
Yeah.
And then they go through it and pop out the other side.
But specifically the visuals there as they come out into the planet core, and there's like this tail along the speeder, and it looks like shot for shot what you would see in a microscopic view of a sperm inseminating an egg.
Yeah.
And it's just like that visual, and it goes through the center of the thing, comes out of the fallopian tubes or whatever,
gives birth to a new
life. Yeah. So I mean that was obviously an intentional
so the other thing that we got off so far, Paul again.
Yeah.
He is hearing voices and learns all this stuff about Sue that he shouldn't know.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
The voice tells. So the voice is obviously real,
Right.
Is it God or soul?
Or a
We
psychic
don't know,
thing.
but it is a real sentient thing. It's not some like ancient dead thing that's just repeating messages, because it's giving him up to date information
Yeah.
that he couldn't possibly know. The voice tells him that that's not his mother,
Yeah.
and that she killed his mommy. And then does he shoot somebody? I feel like
He
somebody
shoots
he,
Sue.
shoot-
yeah.
he shoots his mom. Yeah, he shoots Sue.
Yeah, and then the other thing he does is he grabs something from the lander, right, to make it inoperable, but then they catch him or something. Did that happen too? I don't remember.
Yeah,
Well,
there's a good
that happened.
moment.
That happened in episode 8, right? Marcus had sabotaged the lander.
No,
but
Marcus
no,
is
no,
sabotaged
no.
the lander. Doesn't Paul grab something from it too?
I don't remember. I
So
haven't
there's
watched
a moment where Paul asks Campion to watch Mouse. And Campion's like,
Yes.
why? And he's like, oh, it's a surprise for the baby. And that's enough for the kids to be like, oh, okay. It's the baby. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then Sue is
Oh.
like, why are you holding on to the mouse? And Campion's like, oh, Paul said he was going off to figure out a surprise. So then Sue goes to the lander where Paul has pulled something out because
Yes.
the voice is telling him we can't go to the tropical zone.
Because the
Oh!
tropical zone is dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Okay.
You're freaking me out, Alan. Like, you know things I don't know, and it's frustrating me. And
Yeah.
so she had a good moment where she's like, look, soul ain't real. And he's like, wait, what? And she's like, I used to believe it.
Oh,
But-
soul is real. Is it God?
Yeah. So she's like,
Yeah.
I used to believe it, but now I don't. And you got to depend on yourself. And you remember, Dad was hearing voices and he was acting real scary, right? So you need to believe in yourself. And then that kind of leads to Paul being like, you're not my real mom.
That's genius. These are just
Yeah.
tiny details that are like super important. Okay.
Yeah, that was really good. Also, we're mostly talking about episode 10.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
happens in
But
9? I don't know.
Episode 9 is where they have the reunion with the rapist, right? And, and
I
she
forgot about
starts-
that.
Yeah, she starts draining the rapist's blood to feed her succubus lamprey.
Oh,
rape
that's
snake.
so good. I forgot about.
And then,
I
yeah,
forgot about Helmet Guy.
which is so creepy. And then he reverses it somehow and starts sucking all
on
the
her.
energy back. And then I thought Tempest, has a moment of bravery and takes because he had
proximity mine thing.
Yeah. the head of the android away from her so that his head explodes. But that was really well done. And
But
then
it implodes, doesn't it? Doesn't it
Yeah.
it implodes his head.
Oh.
But then there was the other what's the other girl's name that's not Tempest?
I
one
call
that-
her Bangs McGee because her
Bangs
bangs
McGee,
so
yeah.
ugly.
the Oriental one.
No, not the little one. The other,
Not
the older one.
Oh, the
She-
kind of talk to the manager.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So she finds that tooth, right? That is like some
It's
relic.
like the tooth of Romulus.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's like-
where does she find it in the?
She
in the
finds
wreckage?
it in the wreckage, and it's like in this
It's-
little
it's-
capsule that's like nice and like decorative, and it's protecting this tooth. And then she takes it out, and then she's like is holding the tooth. That's really stupid, but.
Yeah.
She was like, she used the tooth as like, give me strength or whatever to fight this rapist, and she distracts the rapist while Tempest runs or whatever. But
It's an
and-
ancient relic, like the bones of Saint Paul or something.
yeah, exactly, similar type of thing. But I just love they both, she obviously still believes in soul and is in the power of this relic. And Tempest is like, soul is not real. He allowed me to be raped or whatever, so he's not real. And she's just being on her own merit, trying to
Maybe
face her trauma.
Maybe Soul Israel, and he just likes rape.
Yeah, right. But they both come out
you
of
don't
that.
know. You don't know.
No, we don't know. But they both come out of that, her believing in Soul and that it was Soul that saved them from the rapist. But Tempest is like, no, we did that. You distracted him, and I ran off, and we killed the guy. The Soul didn't have anything to do with it,
Yeah.
Mark Clark, yes. Who I refer to as Bangs McGee is Holly. That's her
Holly.
actual name.
Gotcha.
You also had Hunter. He
becomes
figures out
not
Morse
completely
code.
the worst character ever.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, the Morse code.
He
That
reprograms
was really
father,
cool.
and
Oh well, that happens in episode 8.
No.
Oh, okay.
He
finds out
he
what
reads
the
the Morse
code
code.
means
The
in
code
episode
in episode 8. He translates it to "Soul is the light."
Right.
And he's like, "Oh," and I really like that moment too because he was like, "Oh," for a moment I thought that Father was still in there, but
right.
it's not Father. It was.
And then in
some
episode
kind of-
9, he finds out that is the password to revert his settings back.
yeah.
That was a great reveal. I love
And
that.
then
I
there-
forgot about that.
I don't know if it was
completely
9 or 10, but when Father finally catches up to Campion, and Campion's like, "Is it really you?" And
And he
he
tells
just
a joke.
says, "Knock, knock," and then Campion just runs and gives him a big hug.
Oh,
like that.
Yeah,
that was
that was
awesome.
good.
Father
good.
is the best character in the
Yes.
show,
Yes,
And
definitely.
and
he
he's not
had
even a human.
he also the whole my wife, my companion cheated on me, and like he had that whole moral dilemma and decided I got to stick around for the kids.
Stay
So you gotta wipe
together
my
for the
memory.
kids. Stick together for the kids.
And then when the snake is born, he realizes, oh no, she was beguiled.
She was beguiled by the serpent.
Yes.
Like,
And so, oh no, oh geez, like, sorry, I had a little connection to.
yeah.
You had an epiphany.
What?
I'm not.
Say it out loud.
It has to go into certain beliefs that we share that I don't know that the rest of the world shares. And also, yeah, so I think that's a conversation for us to have.
Yeah,
later.
yeah. Text it to me.
So the other thing happens in episode 9. Sorry, did you have another?
No.
Okay.
I lost my train of thought.
So the other thing is Marcus is found out as a fraud. He's not really.
Yeah.
He's not really a believer of Soul, and
I
he has
forget
a
how
fight
that
with
happens.
the thing.
How do they figure that out?
They say that so there was someone else that lost their way or whatever, and he had to slit their throat. And he said he was going to pray for them or something. And then he said, "Did you pray for my father when he was killed?" And he said, "Yeah, of course." And then apparently that's not a thing that they do because
you don't. That's been set up this whole season. You don't pray over
the lost
atheists
souls
because they don't have souls.
Exactly. So that's how they find out he's not really a Mithraic, and they fight, and then he forces Marcus to swallow one of the android eyes that he has around his neck. But
that leads to
that was some trippy.
And then
stuff.
he starts hallucinating a ton.
Yeah,
and that's kind of where we leave him on the last episode. Is
what happens to the rest of the Mithraic?
It's not really shown.
It doesn't show what happens to them in the last episode, I don't think.
Okay.
They never get to them. They just walk away in episode 9. I don't think we see them in episode 10 at all.
No.
Okay.
Another thing too that was interesting is we know that the rapist heard some voice supposedly telling him to rape Tempest
he says that he heard a voice.
He claims to, right? And then, but once he's on the planet, he says, "I don't hear the voice anymore," and he's praying the whole time to hear his voice.
And he says to Marcus, "Pray that you don't offend Soul, so that he stops speaking to you too."
Yeah. So Marcus was hearing the voice, and now Marcus can't hear the voice, and Paul is hearing voices. So this voice seems to be talking to only one person at any given time. Just very interesting.
Interesting.
Let's see, I'm reading this comment here. Go,
I'm afraid.
It makes you kind of a tease, doesn't it?
I'm afraid. I'm sorry.
I
Especially
don't.
because I mean, I'll be honest. I'm at a place where I'm analyzing my own beliefs and trying to decide like what parts of it I actually believe. Because as I'm getting older, I'm realized I had some blind faith, and now I'm trying to kind of reaffirm the things that I learned, and
It's a healthy thing to do.
it gets kind of trippy, and I think here in this context is not the place for me to discuss it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, I lost my place.
So I think we've covered everything in episode 9. I'm just seeing my notes if there's anything else in 10.
Marcus stops hearing the voice.
Marcus stops hearing it. He has a couple of hallucinations.
Is that after the fight? I don't remember.
No,
Yeah.
No, the whole time after basically after they get the children, he's not hearing the voice of Saul anymore.
Mm.
And he went back to the dodecahedron to try and hear the voice, and that's where he slits the other guy's throat. And then they're talking to him. It's like, hey, when's the last time you heard the voice of Saul?
Well, maybe Saul got what it wanted from him.
Maybe so.
Also, the last time he heard it, he ignored it and tried to kill Mother. Anyway.
That's true. That was the last time.
So
that's true.
Saul's found a new disciple. The big thing that Marcus ends on, though, is while he's tripping, he finds an atheist. He's wandering through the desert. He finds an atheist soldier.
Yes, right. That does happen in episode 10.
And then he kills like a whole platoon, except for one. And then he's like, pray with me. And
then the whole atheist spaceship comes up over them. So they realize that they're not alone on the planet. There's a bunch of more atheists.
Which that was the other big crazy thing, because, you know, we're led to believe like the androids were sent way at the very beginning, like as a last ditch attempt, as well as and then the Mithraic arc is just getting there, and like the atheists didn't have the technology to send stuff, and then we learn, oh no, they're there. They're on the planet. So
yes.
So
the atheists are here too now.
There's one other thing in episode 10 that I absolutely loved, and that's when Father and Mother are talking. Father is trying to comprehend his feelings and his emotions, and he doesn't like he doesn't like the fact that Mother she
cheated on him.
That he cheated on her. He's like, his exact words is like, I'm feeling oddly displaced.
Okay. Did you ever think when you started watching this show that part of the story would be a robot affair?
No, but it's amazing and I love it. They're trying to Father is literally trying to go through his thoughts and analyze why he's feeling.
What's great is that they're doing it logically like an android would,
exactly.
But they're also conflicted by their programming to try and mimic emotions as well.
Yeah, it's
like, I know how I'm supposed to feel about this. I also know how I'm supposed to analyze it, and they're not reconciling.
Yeah, I just love that dialogue between Father and Mother, and then Father leaves to go and analyze his feelings, and then he comes back with what he thinks is a solution, and just that whole thing was just chef's kiss. It was so good, so well done. I was laughing and crying at the same time. I was like, this dialogue is so good. I love it.
Yeah,
I liked Father's personal analysis of what to do. Where he's like, my mission is to protect the children, but when I am around Mother, it makes me feel angry, and I can't think straight, and I can't do that job. So what do? That's such a human moment.
Yeah.
portrayed in such a robotic way.
Exactly. Exactly. It's
so-
so good.
So good.
Yeah.
It's I've had, again, I'm a teacher, and I've had times where I'm like, I have that where I'm like, I hate this kid, but it's my job to help them learn not to act the way they're acting.
Yeah.
Man,
So
that's gotta suck.
do I let them go to the bathroom because I know I'm going to get 15 minutes to teach the kids that care? Or do I make them stay because I know they're just going to go wander around for 15 minutes and they're not actually going to the bathroom? And like, oh, just, I have
Yeah.
moments like that robot.
Yep. It doesn't get easier when you're an actual parent raising your own kids. You have those same things. It's like, man, I love my kids, but sometimes they are so stupid.
Yeah.
It's
And
just
then, and then your wife cheats on you with a robot ghost virus.
I know, like,
And you're like, it's just the worst, man.
that's the pits. I hate it when that happens.
They do kind of come together at the end of the episode, though, to
Yeah.
they both choose to sacrifice themselves, and then the planet is like, nope.
Yeah. But it's really good. I mean, that snake lamprey flying. Oh, the other thing too is they were speculating, like, why don't we just kill the thing or whatever? Like, I don't know. It could fly because I'm a necromancer. I fly. It could fly. And then when it's born, it flies. But yeah, so that definitely, the snake baby was not. I did not see that coming. That's really weird and trippy, and that thing is freaky as heck.
And according to Campion Sturgis Ghost Virus in episode 8, the snake is the mission.
Is the mission,
and
yeah.
and it is the future of humanity.
But like, that's when I heard that, I was like, okay, so it's gonna be part android, part human. Like, that makes sense for the future of humanity. But a freaking psychic flying snake.
But also now that we also don't trust the ghost anymore.
Yes,
and it's unclear if that was actually Campion Sturgis,
right,
or if that was something else.
Yeah.
So
that just opens up the answer to what the heck is this baby, brings up more questions.
Right.
When I was in high school, Lost was coming out, and
the Lost hype was so good.
Yeah, but this feels like a much better planned Lost.
Well, because it has a plan.
Yeah,
it has a plan. It's bringing up questions. Every episode brings up more questions and answers half of the questions it brought up last time. So it's not like there's not going to be a solution to this. You
don't understand why there was a polar bear in season 1 until season 5.
The most comforting thing about all of this is the creator has said, I've already planned out like 7 to 8 seasons of this show. Like, he knows where it's going to end. And you can tell like there's stuff that's being set up and paid off. There's stuff that's not freaking paid off until the finale of season 2 that's set up in episode 1 of the show. Like, it.
Yeah.
So we gotta make it our goal then to hype this thing up so that
that's what I've been saying for months. I need people to watch this show so that I get all 8 seasons.
But we don't want to overhype it though, because then they're going to say, "Hey, this show is successful. Let's pump out 12 seasons."
Then Hollywood will get involved and like Game of Thrones.
So let's hype up the show, but not too much.
I am motivated by pure selfishness. That's the only reason I'm making you guys watch it, is so that I can finish the freaking story.
I'm glad you did. I'm going to start.
Yeah.
When I do start, like, my original intent when I was like, I kind of want to make YouTube videos. I wanted to just do book analysis because I enjoy it.
Yeah.
But I'll kind of do what you did with Wheel of Time.
Hype man.
Yeah. I'll be like I originally started this to do one thing, but because a lot of people, I'm hoping, like with your Wheel of Time thing, where people who you made videos about the Wheel of Time and people were checking, like, I will pump this because it's good. I never watched Game of Thrones, but I could imagine like people liking this and theorizing about it and talking about it as much as they did Game of Thrones, because it's that. I mean, it's good.
It's so good.
It is.
It's my favorite thing on television.
And the writer is like, it's not they're not adapting George R.R. Martin, who
he's in charge of his own destiny. So if he screws it up, it's all on him. It's not because George didn't finish the books.
Yeah. And I mean, when that happens, I like it. Like Alex Hirsch, who created Gravity Falls, he pulled the plug on Disney.
Good.
It was like, no, we're ending.
They wanted him to make more.
Yeah, he was like, no, this is story. And also, as I understand it, there were certain things he wanted to do that Disney was like, no, sorry, international market won't like that.
Yeah.
It's not family friendly. It's the international market.
You can't have devil imagery in China.
Or gay stuff.
Yeah.
Like that was, he was like,
well, I'm glad there wasn't gay stuff in the kids show, but yeah.
I think, I mean, it was,
or just sexual content of any kind.
Yeah, it was. Right. So it would have been a same-sex, teenage romance. Which, I mean, I think I'm in high school. The reality of it now is, kids, they do have those relationships, and if that's where they're going, it's good. But Alex Hirsch was never like, I'm going to teach kids about sex in the show. It was just he wanted representation of the LGBTQ plus community, and Disney was like, no.
Oh, but Disney, they care about those kind of things, though, don't they?
Only when they won't get tax breaks for their park in Florida.
Oh, you mean they only care about it if it makes them money? Got it. Wow.
And I mean, going back to what I said, in its heyday, like the Imagineers at Disneyland, they just liked making stuff and were like experiment and doing. And now since it's the money making machine, it's freaking Michael Eisner. When Disney was going bankrupt until the late 80s, and then Michael Eisner was like, "Okay, we got to make a profit," and then they did all these things that had no artistic integrity to make money. That's why turned
voice acting into celebrity cameo acting. Yes.
Yeah. So, the history of Disney is fascinating.
Mm-hmm. Well, we've been talking about this for a good 3 hours.
Yep.
And
our longest show.
And next week we have to go back and talk about episode 9 again. Actually, no. Hold on.
Just tell the other two to catch up.
Well, we don't necessarily have to, because Jared can't make it next week either, because he's on an airplane. So do we pause, or do we just move on to season 2? I'm sure Corwin wouldn't have no problem finishing season 1.
Was there any?
I don't want to leave the others behind, though.
Yeah.
If Jared's not in, we could take a break from this and start watching The Outer Range.
Yeah. Okay. Next week we'll do Moon Knight and The Outer Range, because if Jared's not on the show anyway, we won't have anything new to talk about, because we've already talked about the finale. But of course, I will have new stuff to talk about because I will have rewatched it. So next week, let's just plan on you guys watch The Outer Range. Well, there's gonna be 4 episodes come next week. Do you want to commit to? So just watch this. Watch the premiere. Just watch the first.
Try 4. I think that would be a good. I mean,
I will have seen all 4.
To invest in this,
but yeah, the first 2 episodes are enough to tell you if you're gonna like it or not. So watch the first 2 for sure. I mean, I'm not gonna stop you from watching all 4. So
when did the second 2 come out?
It premiered yesterday.
Okay.
It's every Friday.
It's
also
Friday.
a very short run. I think there's only 8 episodes, so it's gonna be 4 weeks, because they're doing 2 episodes every week Who
Gotcha.
knows why? I don't know why they're shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah. Okay.
So we'll talk Moon Knight episode 4 and The Outer Range because Corwin comes and goes as he pleases. And then the week after that, we can revisit the season 1 finale, and I will talk with Jared beforehand and see if he wants to start season 2, and I'll let you guys know.
Are there any big like blockbuster series that are coming out this summer that you want to focus on?
The Secrets of Grindelwalds.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm not going to see that.
Which we already talked about. So Morbius is in theaters.
Well, that's already out.
Dumbledore, and the next big one is Doctor Strange, which comes out on the 6th.
I will see that.
May.
I will see Doctor Strange in theaters.
But
I didn't realize it was coming out so soon because the Bob's Burgers movie is coming out the same month, and I was like, "Oh yeah, awesome! I love Bob's Burgers."
Bob's Burgers.
So, I know
I've seen Bob's Burgers.
It's not for everyone. And I know the movie is not going to be like the greatest thing ever, but I'm really excited for it because
you are going. I don't think I can see it in theaters, but I'm excited for it. I'm not caught up. I'm not caught up though. I'm still in season 3. Bob's Burgers. Of course, it's probably going to be a movie you don't need to be caught up to watch because it's an episodic.
Bob's Burgers is very episodic.
Yeah.
Sometimes they bring in characters. But then in one line, they can be like, there's a character in an episode and then they come back, but they can just be like, oh, yeah, this was the Brazilian capoeira instructor from season 1. And they're like, yeah, he was that guy that did that weird.
I remember that character. So, yeah, the next big blockbuster is Doctor Strange, and that doesn't come out till the 6th of May. Then, like, the new Jurassic World comes out in June. Stranger Things season 4 drops in May as well. But
yeah, that's a 2-parter thing, right?
Yeah, so it's just the first half drops in May and the second half in July, I think. But they don't do it episodic, so it's like impossible to cover on a show like this.
Yeah,
but
then Kenobi's coming out at the end of May.
Kenobi comes out on the 27th of May.
Yeah, and then what's the other? Is there another Marvel show coming out?
The same week that they're releasing Kenobi, they are burying Miss Marvel.
Is that coming out at the same time?
Yes.
That's a theatrical release, though, right?
No, it's Disney Plus TV show.
Oh,
they are
not show confidence in that.
They already know it's going to be a complete failure.
Oh no!
First off, the comics were complete failures, so I don't know why they're making movie adaptations.
The character
they have a pretty
is well liked
following, but
it's one of the least selling comics. Miss Marvel, that and Captain Marvel. For being honest, they did not make money. The comics.
Miss Marvel looks like it's going to be more of a teenage.
Yeah, it's a teenage. Sure, it's a little girl show,
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't believe that they're releasing it at the same time as Kenobi. That does not show confidence in the show at all.
No, they don't have confidence in it.
But I'll watch it and talk about it.
We're gonna have a lot of things to talk about.
Yeah.
I was going to say, if you haven't, and I have been meaning to do this since last summer, Invincible on Amazon Prime. It's good.
Ooh, I made my little brother watch that. When James was here to babysit for the summer, I made him watch Invincible, and it completely blew his mind.
It's good.
The ending of episode 1, man, he was like, "What did you make me watch?"
So it was like 11 o'clock at night, and I couldn't get to sleep. And so I was like, "Oh, I'll watch the first episode," and then I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And I watched I was up to like 2 a.m.
Yeah, it's literally the is it the Pringles slogan? It's not Pringles, it's Lay's. It's I bet you can't eat just one. Yeah, that should be the tagline for Invincible. I bet you can't stop after episode 1.
Yeah.
I've been meaning to read the comics.
I started reading them. I have not gotten very far. So
I've wanted to buy
I also kind of don't want to spoil the show for myself
Yeah.
because it's one of the most like faithful adaptations. With the exception of his girlfriend, who no one liked in the show. She was awful in the TV show, and she's great in the comics. So they just made her they made her really naggy, and I did not like her at all.
Yep.
So
she wasn't mad that that he was a superhero. She was mad that she didn't tell him that he was a superhero, even though she knew. She figured it out.
Yeah. She's
so
like,
stupid.
I know already. In the comics, it's the opposite. It's when he says, "Look, I'm invincible." She's relieved. She's like, "That explains so much, and I know why you couldn't tell me." And in the show, she's like, "I already knew, and I was just waiting for you to tell me, even though I could use this opportunity to be more understanding."
Yeah, it was a real jerk move in the show.
She's awful. I hate her. And then they end up together at the end, and it's not. It's stupid. It's stupid. I just want her to get killed off.
Everything else in that, everything else was fine. Just that one moment, it's like, no, you're stupid. You're so stupid. I'm like, what? Anyways,
I just want her to die. I want her to die so badly. I
don't hate her that much.
I want Omni-Man to come and just punch her into the ground. So,
oh man, that's
a good teaching moment for Junior.
I gotta give props.
When his teeth fall, Daddy, why are you killing me?
No, just when Omni-Man is like, after they're all dead and you've lived hundreds of years, what would you still have worth living for? I'd have you.
Yeah.
Oh,
we're gonna spend another hour talking about Invincible if we don't.
Okay, all right.
All right. Well, happy Easter, everybody! Tomorrow, we're really glad that you guys tuned in. We got a lot of people commenting on, on Raised by Wolves, and that gives me hope. So, I'm sorry.
We might need to keep going because, like Mark Clark said, like we're. Not a lot of people are talking about it, so maybe we need to keep going.
Yeah. So, but tomorrow we'll take a break for next week. So, Moon Knight, and tell me how you feel about the Outer Range. So,
sounds good.
Let's let our other panelists catch up, and then we'll start season 2 real soon. We'll let you guys know, probably the week after that. So, it's been great. Thanks for joining the stream. Anything else to say? Anything to plug? You haven't started your YouTube channel yet, so you can't plug that. As soon as you can plug it every week. We'll tell everyone to go sub to Tanner's Tantrums. That's your channel has to be called, or no, Tangents. Tanner's Tangents. That's not
bad. That's not bad.
That's pretty good. You're welcome. Actually, by the way, you're welcome.
That's good. I'll plug you all the time as credit on
I get plugged
on my channel. Yeah.
Sorry. My channel? Yeah.
I'll plug your channel. I won't plug you. I will plug your channel.
I am my channel. I am the science. Okay. Let's end it there before I get political. Bye, everybody.